Premier League table, but all in all, a rather forgettable game here at Selhurst for the Palace faithful. They will now turn their attention to Thursday in Cyprus as they look to try and make it through to the quarter-finals of the Europa Conference League. That also stands at 0-0 after 2 goalless draws in a row. Palace will need much better over in Cyprus. It's finished here in the Premier League. Crystal Palace 0, Leeds United 0.
Total Sport Live.
BBC Radio London.
Well, it's all over here, all over as well at the City Ground, I think. Let's go up to Mark Taylor, Nottingham Forest against Fulham.
Nottingham Forest 0, Fulham 0. Most of the action coming in the second half. Ola Aina struck the crossbar with a fierce drive for Forest. Dan Undoy thought he'd given Forest the lead. However, VAR intervened and the goal was disallowed. Sasha Lukic came on for Fulham and he went close from the edge of the box. Taiwo Awoniyi had a chance to win the game late on for Forest, but clean through, he was unable to hit the target. It's finished Nottingham Forest 0, Fulham 0.
Thank you very much, Mark. So could be an important point for Forest there. Fulham, another game where they haven't quite managed to keep up their excellent form from a little earlier in the calendar year. They've just lost ground in the league with that loss against West Ham, draw at Forest, and also knocked out of the FA Cup, of course, by Southampton of the Championship. Manchester United have beaten Villa 3-1. Casemiro, Cunha and Sesko with the goals for United. Barkley with an equaliser for Villa before United took control again of that one. The Premier League table, well, Crystal Palace still 14th in the table on 39 points, Leeds on 32, and then Spurs, Forest and West Ham all on 29 points. That point for Forest puts West Ham back in the relegation zone. Spurs, though, have those two right alongside them and are only ahead of Forest and West Ham on goal difference going into their game this afternoon at Anfield against Liverpool, which we will be across to very shortly. Just a final thought from Bradley Allen here at Selhurst. Wasn't a lot to really write home about there for Palace.
Mixed emotions in the end. The games, I think, are taking their toll for Crystal Palace. That freshness, that bit of innovation and creativity that they needed to find at the end, having had the extra player with Goodmanson sending off for 2 yellows, they couldn't find it. Leeds, I think, will be quite happy that they've took something, and that deep defensive block stood firm and has kept a clean sheet. But they will, of course, consider that late penalty miss by Calvert-Lewin that could have put them in front in this one, and it might have been a really memorable day for them. So a point shared, about right. You know, we're at that stage of the season where teams and players are starting to get a little bit fatigued. I think Crystal Palace, you know, certainly in terms of Premier League status, are going to be okay. Their season now is Thursday. Leeds United, they could get out of trouble, I think, with a couple more wins, and I think they're capable of doing that.
Yeah, but they will probably look at this and say, if we'd kept the 11 on the field, we could have potentially won this.
Yeah,
Palace were not at their best.
Their approach might have been different. It went ultra defensive, and you understand that. But obviously, Ellen Road is a bit of a fortress for them, and has been this season in the Premier League. So they're bank on that, I think, for their remaining games.
But for Palace, all on Larnaca now.
Yeah, all eyes on Cyprus on Thursday.
Well, we've had a trip there ourselves, which was very enjoyable.
We enjoyed that. We certainly did.
Bradley, thank you very much indeed for being alongside us here this afternoon at Selhurst Park. So a draw for Fulham up at Nottingham Forest, which is more valuable to Forest than it is to Fulham, perhaps. And a draw for Leeds United here that keeps them 3 points clear of trouble at the bottom of the table. The newly promoted side still battling to stay in this league. And Palace, they will look to Thursday night against Larnaca. But from here at Selhurst Park, a rather disappointing day for Palace. What will be in store for Tottenham and their supporters up at Anfield? You'll find out next here on Total Sport on BBC Radio London with our commentary team, Steve Brown, who's alongside Phil Parry. It's just coming up to 4:05.
Total Sport Live.
BBC Radio London.
Thank you very much to Andy Rowley. The sun is shining just about, but lots of grey clouds around this part of the northwest of England. The reigning champions will not retain their title, and they've had a season which they've not necessarily celebrated. The fans are somewhat nervous coming to this game against a team who are currently moribund. 6 straight defeats and staring down the barrel of Champions League exit. And this weekend they stared into the face of possibly dropping into the bottom 3. That's not necessarily going to happen, although goal difference is what separates them from the teams that are challenging them, with West Ham United and of course Nottingham Forest with that draw today. Tottenham Hotspur, other team we're talking about. Liverpool are the reigning champions. It's not a ground that favours Spurs. It doesn't favour many really over history. I think we talked about a couple of weeks ago West Ham United's poor record here, just 2 wins since 1963, or was it one? No, 1 win since 1963. Tottenham Hotspur here last season beaten 5-1 as Liverpool claimed the league title. Liverpool make 5 changes to the side that lost out in Galatasaray in the Champions League midweek. Still quite a bit of strength though to their team with the way it lines up as well. 1 or 2 faces that are returning. Alisson, who missed out in goal, returns. Jeremy Frimpong will play at right back. Joe Gomez, formerly of Charlton, Virgil van Dijk, and Andy Robertson, who could have been a Spurs player, at left back. Dominic Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister, Florian Wirtz, Ryan Gravenbach, Rio Ngumahona and Cody Gakpo up top for Spurs. 4 changes from that defeat at Atletico Madrid midweek. Vicario between the sticks, returning of course for Kinski, who is on the bench, Antonin Kinski by the way. There's also starts today for Radu Dragusan in the heart of defence, and Solanke will start up top as well, with Sousa playing possibly as a left wing back. We reckon Vicario in goal. It could be Porro, Dragusan and Danso, Spence and Sousa as the wing backs, Gray, Pape Matar in midfield, with Matthias Tell and Richarlison flanking Dominic Solanke up top. Be back with Bradley in a moment if he's still there at Selhurst Park. If we might need to nudge him awake, Steve Brown, after that game.
It did sound
goodness gracious me,
a tough watch.
It sounded like a bit of a snooze fest, didn't it? I think it's fair to say. Listen, for Spurs, I mean, they came here last season and they initially looked as if they were going to spoil the championship winning party. They didn't. Obviously Liverpool went on to win 5-1. Spurs were going on to European glory. They did finish a lowly 17th in the Premier League, but they were safe. They come here this season, a few more games to go but not many. This time the relegation fears are real, Steve.
Yeah, I better believe it. I mean, everything points towards a real struggle. West Ham have turned their form around. I've got to say though, I sat at West Ham for the Brighton 2-2 draw. They went on to lose at Wolves and I thought they were done and dusted. So credit to West Ham for turning the corner and pulling their results around and giving themselves a shot. I thought they were done and dusted, and hopefully if you're a Spurs fan the same can be done here. They do have a set of fixtures coming up after this one. Yeah, you don't expect them with their current form and the current form guide for them to pick anything up here, but Forest, Sunderland, Brighton and Wolves next 4. I think that is the 4, because beyond that it gets a little bit more tricky. Those 4 there, if you come out of those 4 and you haven't got...
Yeah. I mean, the Forest game for me is massive now.
It's huge. But then you go Sunderland, they're beatable for sure.
Yeah.
Brighton's a toughie, but Wolves is another... If you can do the Forest and Wolves and get you 6 points, then that takes you a long way.
Yeah.
But look, at the moment when you've lost 6 on the spin and you've had the issues that they've had in midweek and the squad looks threadbare, and you look on the sheet, and you're putting goals and assists down across the team, it does look bleak. But Spurs have got to find a way as characters, as players.
Well, the head coach, current head coach, I think it's fair to say the current head coach is saying that they've got to show up now. I mean, again, all sorts of question marks about him. I mean, there's so many rumours about him. That he's had 4 games in charge, he's lost all 4, and people are saying, Spurs preparing to move off. Reports that they are looking at potential options. Players seemingly unhappy. What happened with Antonin Kinski midweek? He hadn't started since October, got a start between the sticks away at Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, had a nightmare opening 15 minutes, a couple of the goals were his errors. gets hoiked, allowed to walk down to the dressing room. He's on the bench, and it's not even a fully stacked bench today for Tottenham Hotspur. No. They can't name a full bench. He's one of 2 goalkeepers on there. I mean, I almost don't see the point of having 2 goalkeepers on a bench.
I have to agree with that. You're not going to put one on the outfield, and I do agree with that. But sometimes it's as a statement. Well, what statement you can? What good does it do you?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But I mean, even if you look down at the pitch now, they're going through a corner routine out on the middle of the pitch. I find this astonishing. You're away at Anfield and you're going through a full set-piece routine, and you've had so much time on the training ground to address set pieces. Who's this for? If you haven't grasped who you're marking and where you're supposed to be at set pieces before you get to Anfield, for me that's problematic. Who is this for? I don't know. But there are multiple rumours floating around football at the moment that this is the last game for the manager of Spurs. Rumours are what they are. We'll wait and see once this game's done and dusted. But it's a season that's spiralling out of control for sure. And the only people that can change it are the ones that are in the kit today, out on this pitch. No one expects too much out of them. They're 8-1 to get a result in a 2-horse race, which is astonishing. And I'm not a betting man, but that sounds like long odds for a game of football to me.
Let's quickly go back to Selhurst Park, where Bradley has dropped off, but Andy Rowley is still there. Andy, wake up, Andy, wake up.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah.
No shots on target from Crystal Palace at home. I mean, we talk about Spurs' home form. It's been dreadful. Just 3 wins in a calendar year now. Only 2 of them this season in the Premier League. But Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, it's not. I don't know. We build it up to be this great place. Someone drying the hands in the background as well. Good to hear that someone's washed their hands after using the facilities. We build it up as this great place with a great atmosphere, but they don't always get the football they want. But a really interesting point you were making about the season taking its toll on these Crystal Palace players, because this squad is limited.
Yeah, it's hardly surprising that you're starting to see. I mean, there wasn't a problem with their defenders today. They stuck to their task brilliantly in difficult conditions. A lot of, as Bradley mentioned, there was some really, really excellent defensive heading at times where, Leeds were really asking a lot of questions with Stack, particularly good from his set pieces. But I mentioned just about 10 minutes to go, Phil, what they wouldn't give for an Elise or an Eze. I know that's asking for a lot, but they've obviously had them in the building. Just to have someone in these kind of games just to unlock the match, because they've got players like Sarr and Guessond who can stretch the play, but someone who can just weave a bit of magic on the edge of the D. They haven't really got that at the moment, and as you say, the fare at Selhurst of late has not been that great. Even the Wolves game when they won, I didn't think they played brilliantly. Obviously they drew 0-0 on Thursday, and both of these last 2 games, I think the fan reaction has told the story really. There were boos at the end today, they were on Thursday. Mateta was jeered when he came on in both games. I think there was it's been bubbling under obviously with the manager knowing that he's leaving, but it's never that far away. When you get a performance like this, it just sort of comes back to the surface. Well, so obviously the European campaign is so important now for them, but it won't mask what's sort of becoming a bit of a drab end to the season.
Yeah, the season all rides on Thursday night away in Cyprus, doesn't it really? If they get knocked out, the season's ended, and maybe at that point you just don't know where they go.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think with the manager, if that happened, you wonder if they just say, will they force him to stay till the end of the season, or just say, that's enough.
Give Paddy McCarthy the
exactly.
I mean, the thing is, they'd have to pay him up, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And I think that's what they've been, I think, keen to avoid really, because they're like, why should we do that? When it's you that wants out. So I can understand both sides of it, Steve, and that they probably will say you've got to see this out, you signed the contract, but then you are going to get a lot of this kind of atmosphere. If they were to be knocked out, you are going to get a pretty disgruntled fan base in the main, thinking, why is he still here? And that's the gamble the board would take with that, because I think the season would really peter out, unfortunately. But they could go and win in Larnaca, go through the quarterfinals, and the European campaign could certainly keep this season very much alive. So that's why it's so important on Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see and find out what Oliver Glasner has to say about today's game with you, Andy. Thank you for hanging on there for a little while at Selhurst Park. 0-0 in that one, as it was Fulham against Nottingham Forest. Man United beating Aston Villa by 3-1. I know the talk will be, is Michael Carrick going to get the job full-time? They'll have to do their due diligence. You know, you can be a caretaker and do well, but he's done very well, Steve. If you look at the Premier League table now, Manchester United 54 points, 3 points above Aston Villa, 10 points off Manchester City, 8 to play. But Champions League football heading to Old Trafford again next season, and they found their mojo a little bit under him, haven't they?
6 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Yeah. Last 8. You know, it's phenomenal. And what I would say is I don't think Man United will rush into anything. They're not in a rush to do anything. I think they're quite happy to leave it as it is for now. But I think you're right. You can't just go dropping a new 2-3 year contract on someone because they've done okay. There's got to be a process you've got to go through. Yeah. And is there anybody else out there that you could bring in that has, you know, top end experience? And that's the one thing that might just kill Michael Carrick, is if there's someone available with top end experience, they might just go for that. And when I mean top end, I mean Champions League experience, who's a well-known candidate. But failing that, he can't do any more. Let's be brutally honest. As a manager, he cannot do any more than put the results on the board, and he's done that. No. And he seems to be enjoying himself on the sidelines. I watched a little bit of the footage downstairs before I came up here. You know, and there's a little smile on his face, and he knows he's doing a very good job. So whatever the outcome at Man United for Michael Carrick, he's done himself a massive favour by taking on that mantle and getting the results he has.
Absolutely. We'll talk more about Tottenham Hotspur in the build-up to this as well. 15 minutes away from kick-off. The 2 sets of players have done their warming up, back in the dressing rooms, final words of instruction being handed out. Let's just focus on Liverpool for a moment or two. I caught up with Ian Kennedy from BBC Radio Merseyside a little while ago to talk about Liverpool, last season's champions, of course. Today, starting the day, 6th in the table. I still believe they'll go through in the Champions League. I think they'll beat Galatasaray here midweek, which will see them take on probably Paris Saint-Germain. It could be Chelsea, but it will probably be Paris Saint-Germain, let's face it, in the next round of the Champions League. And they'll go 5th today as well, over Chelsea, if they can avoid defeat, certainly if they can win. However, when I got in the lift to come up to our commentary position high up in this main news stand here at Anfield, the lift operator said, "Oh, it's going to be a terrible game between 2 terrible teams." And I was sort of thinking, well,
perspective, I think that is.
Well, I asked Ian whether actually that was more of a... Firstly, we discussed whether he was an Evertonian, and there's a possibility, but also about whether it's not just about the fact Liverpool's form has been a bit scrapey this year, it's also about the way they've actually gone about playing their football.
Yeah, there's definitely a nervousness about Liverpool for most of the season, actually. They got off to a great start, and then obviously the wheels fell off. And they've kind of recovered a little bit, but it's you don't come here now, or anywhere actually, with the firm belief that this is going to be a straightforward Liverpool victory. Just don't get games like that now. Liverpool have been slow tempo-wise to get going in games. They very rarely score in the first half. And that means that, you know, games become close. There's been very few games where Liverpool have been, you know, 2 or 3-0 up early on, and it's just a procession. And we saw that last season. In a way, Liverpool are having the kind of season this season that they should have had last season. Right. You know, this was, you know, last season should have been the one where Arne Slot was finding his feet, and it was all a bit of a transition, and then he would get into his stride. This season, it's been the other way round, and so it has been very surprising, and really you don't really know what you're going to see from one week to another with Liverpool.
Is that a lot of money was spent, but we almost have to forget about money now, because we're dealing with monopoly money in football these days. So, you know, when we have players being signed for £100 million or whatever, you almost have to ignore what the price tag is. But there has been a lot of churn. There's been a lot of new players coming in one fell swoop. Is that part of the reason?
It could be. I mean, because we expect players who are big money signings to come in straight away, hit the ground running, and it doesn't work like that. And, you know, it can happen. Hugo Ekitike actually is an exception. He's done really well this season. And I think a lot of people thought when Alexander Isak came in that how much of Ekitike would we actually see? But he's proved to be top class. So that's been the one big bonus. But Florian Wirtz has only just, since Christmas really, found his feet in the Premier League. He now looks the part, actually, and when he hasn't been playing recently, you kind of miss him. You notice his absence. Kirkes is another one at left back who's gradually finding his feet and coming into a bit of form. Although I was at Molineux recently in the FA Cup tie, and I thought Andy Robertson was outstanding, and I thought, well, that's interesting, because does he keep with Andy Robertson now, the way he played in that game? But Kirkes has been back in, so yeah, it was quite not a risky thing to do, but to be champions and then change it so much was obviously a bit of a risk. I remember saying at the time, well, you build from a point of strength, and I thought, I don't think anyone would have argued against any of the players who came in, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's easy with hindsight.
Of course.
And I still think that Liverpool will be strong next season. But, it's all about now, isn't it? It's all about today.
It's an interesting point, and I think he's possibly right, Ian, but there was a lot of changes, weren't there, Steve?
Yeah.
A lot of new arrivals. Wirtz came with a £100 million price tag. Kirkes arriving for a lot of money and has started making his way and making his name. Obviously, the protracted deal, which eventually then saw, the man they wanted to bring in, Alexander Isak, for a huge amount of money, and then he gets injured and he's out for a period of time. Ekitike has done well. He's on the bench today. £85 million for him, £120 million or so they said for Isak. I mean, that's £300 million on 3 players.
Yeah, it's extraordinary money.
I mean, so we have to almost forget about the price tag now and just talk about the churn and new players. Man United, when they had success continually under Alex Ferguson, didn't necessarily bring in 3, 4 or 5. They brought in 1 or 2 tops.
Yeah, and I think obviously Liverpool seen it as a transition. I know they won the title last year, but I think they feel like this squad needs to be revitalised a little bit. You've got Van Dijk and Salah probably at the end of their Liverpool
careers. But they were given long deals. They were given new deals in the summer.
But I think they're going to wind them down. I think you tend to give players of that stature an opportunity to stay on probably slightly reduced money because of the impact they have in the dressing room. I can't see them playing 38-game seasons. Look what they're doing with Salah this year.
Yeah.
So he might even get to the point, Salah, where he goes, okay, look, I signed, but I want out.
Yeah.
So we'll see how those go. But I do think there is a transitional period where you bring in players that cost you an absolute fortune, but a bit like we saw Chelsea do, Phil, but not to the extravagance, in terms of the volumes of money spent, where you're bringing in players that are here for, the foreseeable future. You're strengthening the core and you're making the squad stronger, and you're hoping those players go on for 4 or 5 years and you can rebuild this team. Alex Ferguson had to do it 3 or 4 times during his time at Manchester United. It's just a variant of different managers trying to restructure this team and make it strong again.
I've just seen a bit of a commotion on the front of the main stand, we're right at the top, but just right at the front on the lower tier, and there seems to be some sort of medical treatment that's being required from someone in the stand there. Now, I don't know if someone's fallen over or something, Steve, but there seemed to be a little bit of a commotion that's taken place. Maybe settled down. Or just keep an eye on that, because obviously it can have an effect on whether games get going or have to be delayed or whatever. But it seems to be under a little bit of control. All those problems, though, that we could list, as you've just mentioned, Liverpool can go, 4th today with a win.
Yeah.
They can go above Chelsea if they avoid defeat. They have spent a lot of money on squad, and Spurs fans will be sitting there going, oh yeah, what are they moaning about? I mean, they could go 4th today. We're sitting in a very perilous position and could, I mean, this is not hyperbole, Steve. Spurs could get relegated out of the top flight for the first time since the 1970s, and they are worried about that. They are in dreadful form. They've got an injury list that would make an episode of MASH look embarrassed. That's one for the teenagers, Steve. Casualty, Holby City, whatever you want to apply some sort of medical drama to it, right? And they haven't had the investment in the squad that they think they should have had at that point where they got to the Champions League final against Liverpool in 2019.
Oh, okay, you're going back to 29. Okay, because Richarlison was 60, you know, Solanke was a fair chunk, maybe up at 60 as well. So they have spent money, but have they spent it wisely?
Properly, yeah.
Right, so that's the difference. They are bottom of the form guide in the last 5 games, 0 points, 13 goals conceded. If you extend that to 10, they're still bottom. All right, and that is a worrying trend that they've got to reverse. And like I said, you can sit here and feel sorry for yourselves, or you can roll your sleeves up and fight tooth and nail. And one of the things, I think we've come away from a couple of games watching Spurs, and I hate to level this at some of the players, but you go, is that all you've got to give?
Yeah.
I would have given a lot of my time and effort to have worn a Spurs shirt back in the day. And I just look at some of them and I think, is that what you're giving? Now, if you don't like the manager, or you don't like the style, or you can have a bit of a sulk up, but once you enter that pitch, you've got the pride of wearing a Spurs shirt. Please wear it and give everything you've got. Now, if you fall short but you're giving everything you've got, I think there's an element of we're just not good enough. But you can't tell me some of the players that Spurs have had come through their ranks that they're a relegation side. They're absolutely not. So it's gone catastrophically wrong. But 1 or 2 players I've looked at and I think they're just sulking, or they're not buying into it, and they've almost chucked the towel in, which is a bit sad to see. But yeah, let's be brutally frank here. Relegation is absolutely on the cards, and I don't see much today. If they get something, that's a massive bonus. But it's those 4 games I mentioned earlier, particularly the Forest and Wolves ones. You know, if you come out of them with nothing, then I think there'll be a real fear factor towards the end of the season that, you know, we're gearing up for Championship football, which is incredible to say about a Spurs side.
I mean, it's also amazing to see, just reading, Igor Tudor has been talking about his job. I mean, 4 games in, he was only given till the summer anyway, but talking about the fact that he doesn't really listen to the criticism. He's just got to get on. Coaches just get on the training ground and try and do their work. A new coach would come in and work miracles, is what he's saying. We've heard what not his predecessor but his predecessors had to say about Tottenham Hotspur. Ange Postecoglou talking about them earlier not that long ago, about where they are at this moment in time. It seems incredible to think that, you know, with a £1 billion stadium, with a team that, yes, 7 years ago now were 90 minutes away from winning the Champions League and hoping to push on, are at the point they are now, today, in this game. This would be a Brucey bonus here at Anfield, judging on the recent record, judging on the paucity of what he's able to work with today as a team selection, judging the fact that Liverpool can make 5 changes, and sitting on the bench, Ibrahim Konate, Milos Kerkez, Mohamed Salah, Hugo Ekitike, their leading scorer, all sitting on the bench should they need them today. And because of the trip to Greece, to Turkey and coming back, their manager Arne Slot has made changes to take that into account. Spurs are jealous of that. All of that, you know, they have to try and put to one side, and the players out there have got to give the best performance they possibly can this afternoon, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, they've fallen short, spectacularly short in the last few games. You know, like we've just said, I think 6 straight losses now, which is incredible. And the season's spiralling downwards, and you've got to try and reverse that. It probably won't be here today, but but next week, or when's the international break? Week after, isn't it?
So they've got Atletico Madrid at home on Wednesday, live on BBC Radio London, and then Nottingham Forest next Sunday.
Next Sunday, right,
at home.
So that is the one.
Huge.
And we will know an awful amount about the shape of Spurs' season and where they're sat, because look, once you're in that bottom 3, if you're not used to being in it, you look at West Ham, they've been used to being in it. They've turned a corner and they're getting results. Their fighting spirit is shining through at the moment. You could potentially slip into the bottom 3 with a poor result next weekend, and then you really are up against it. But look, they are where they are. With every passing game you have an opportunity to fix it and turn it round, but you've got to show a bit of fighting spirit, which I haven't seen in the few games that I've covered Spurs this season. 14
goals conceded in the 4 games since the new manager's taken over. You know, he's had
and they might have another one, by the way. There is a rumour circulating in football circles that this could be his last game, which is incredible to think, but there is a wicked rumour going around that they could change again before the end of the season. Well, before next weekend, actually.
Liverpool go into a huddle halfway inside their own half of the pitch, just in case you are a seasoned huddle watcher these days, which apparently we have to be. Certainly the referees do. Chris Kavanagh is the official with the whistle today, Steve, and he has not been surrounded by the home team who want to have a bit of a cuddle inside the centre circle like Chelsea. Spurs have maybe had the first win because they've turned Liverpool against what they would normally want. Liverpool will be attacking the Kop in this first half.
But again, that can work spectacularly against you if you get an early goal. You can be 3-0 down at half time, can't you?
Spurs
Dead and buried.
Yellow shirts, shorts and socks with navy toppings and flashings on those shirts. The goalkeeper is Guillermo Vicario, wearing a blue goalkeeping gear. Liverpool go into a huddle outside the centre circle. Tottenham Hotspur likewise. Chris Kavanagh stands just outside that centre circle with the ball planted on the spot. And You'll Never Walk Alone reaches its crescendo inside Anfield, with blue skies starting to emerge from behind the fluffy white clouds. The second of your two commentary games here on BBC Radio London Total Sport Live on Mother's Day. And let's say happy Mother's Day to mums, grandmums, future mums, and mums that are no longer with us, but we still remember fondly on this 15th of March. Shadows over most of the pitch as Virgil van Dijk rolls it square towards Andy Robertson. He's going to dab it down that left-hand side. Liverpool looking to attack. Pedro Porro's there on the cover. Manages to shimmy it away, crack it clear. Liverpool win it back. It's missed by McAllister, who now has it. The Argentinian international. Gravenbach in midfield. Sense of excitement. Liverpool have the ball. Spurs sitting deep. Ooh. Worked in towards the right-hand side, now off the boots of Szoboszlai. Here comes Frimpong, bouncing off one challenge and darting down the right-hand side goes Frimpong again, but Florian Wirtz concedes a throw-in, which will be taken by Jed Spence. So the formation looks...
No, it's a back four.
It's a four with Porro right back, Danso, Dragusin and Spence, Archie Gray, Papamatsa Sarr, Tell and Souza cross midfield, is that right? And up front Solanke and Richarlison. Swung out wide by Joe Gomez to that right hand touchline, and it skims off the head instead of Mahoma. And it'll be a throw into Spurs on the right-hand touchline in their right-back berth, which will be taken by Pedro Porro. Takes a few seconds off the clock with that.
It is. It's a 4-4-2. Richarlison and Solanke leading the line. Richarlison is dropping deep when they're out of possession. Although in saying that, just moments ago, Solanke dropped ever so deep as well. But yeah, you've got Souza on the right-hand side of a midfield, Gray, Sarr, and then we've got Tell on the left.
Go through the bench in a minute, and it will take longer for Liverpool than Spurs because he's not even able to name a full bench. As here's Spence down the left-hand side, looks for the run beyond him of Matthias Tell, angles it into midfield. Papamatsa Sarr evades one tackle, pinged out wide towards Tell on that left-hand side. He's run it over the whitewash, and that'll be a throw-in. So Liverpool's bench: Georgi Mamardashvili, the goalkeeper; Ibrahima Konate, Milos Kerkesh, Mohamed Salah, Federico Chiesa, Curtis Jones, Hugo Ekitike, Trey Naomi and Calvin Ramsey. Throw into Liverpool right-hand side: Antonin Kinski and Brandon Austin, two goalkeepers on the bench. Xavi Simons, Randall Kolo Muani, Callum Olasesi, James Rousewell and James Wilson. I mean, that is a skinny bench, Steve. And it's what he's got. You look at the injury list: Odegaard out, Bergvall out, Bentancur out, Udogie out, Kudos. As down the right-hand side comes Frimpong for Liverpool, closed down by Spence, yellow-booted towards the Kop, red shirt, shorts and socks, finds Gravenbach behind him, slides it into Dominik Szoboszlai. The Hungarian rolls it square to Van Dijk. He prods it to Robertson, the Scotsman, heading towards the World Cup. On the left-hand side, Liverpool looking to attack again. Gahoma with it, finding Van Dijk and slipping it towards Robertson. 0-0, early exchanges, 3 minutes played. Total Sport live on a Sunday afternoon on DAB Digital Radio. Gabby Roslin on 94.9 FM. And then it's Dotun Adebayo at 6 o'clock. Will join Dotun at the end of events here at Anfield. Liverpool fans finding their voice, slip through midfield. Liverpool bit impatient. Cut out by Archie Gray. The youngster gallops over the halfway line. Szoboszlai's on the cover, rolls it away from Tell. He finds the Brazilian goalkeeper Alisson. Here's the chest of Wirtz, who chips it down the right hand side for Frimpong, nudges it back in field to Florian Wirtz. Highly rated playing in Germany, but taking his time to settle at Liverpool, but starting to see what he's worth. £100 million or €100 million certainly was the price tag, plus some add-ons that are coming. Gahoma down the left-hand side again for Liverpool, looking to stretch the play. Their manager, Arne Slot. There was some cheeky memes saying that they came back from Turkey with nothing apart from the fact he had a full head of hair. Here is Frimpong galloping through the challenges on the edge of the Spurs penalty area. McAllister swings it out wide left again for Liverpool. Spurs staying in a tight defensive formation. That's what they've got to try and do. They don't want to concede early. It's an attempted cross. I thought it was going to be swung in. Work back to Robinson. Rolls his studs onto the ball. He now crashes it into the penalty area. Claims of handball against Spence. Nothing given by the referee. Frimpong has it. Right hand side. Drives it into the penalty spot. That's blocked by the legs of Dragusin. And that'll be a foul on the... No, it's not.
He's just gone to ground. There was no contact.
Solanke looking at the referee. Nothing given. Former Liverpool player. Didn't really work from here. Good cross. Far post. Almost sails beyond Vicario. And out of play it goes for a goal kick, which will be taken by the Italian goalkeeper. 5 played, 0-0.
Yeah. Just looking at Liverpool's formation, it looks like Szoboszlai is at right back and Frimpong's ahead of him.
Yeah.
So that's an opportunity, I think, on this left-hand side for Tell to get at maybe Szoboszlai a little bit. He just tried to get in off his shoulder. Szoboszlai recovered quite well. But interestingly, you know, when Spurs go deep, you've still got to do that work. You've still got to get tight. You've still got to shut down.
Yeah.
You know, you understand, you know, the defensive shape, the low block today, absolutely more than ever. But you've got to work the player in possession a bit more than they are.
Szoboszlai carries it forward towards the halfway line and then checks back into that more defensive role. Here is Gakpo to steers it out wide towards the left-hand side. They're going to have a lot of possession, I think it's fair to say, Liverpool, the way that Spurs have already set themselves up in this game. And
they're allowing the back line and the first ball into midfield to be sort of uncontested. It's when Liverpool enter their attacking third.
Yeah.
That's when Tottenham try to at least apply a bit of pressure, but the movement is good from Liverpool, but they've got some work to do to break this Spurs side down. But again, you know, you talk about turning around and playing towards the Kop. If they get a goal somewhere in this first 10 minutes, this place is going to erupt, and you can't play like that at that point. This only works while it's clean sheets for both sides.
There's been a lot of question marks about Arne Slot this season with his team, who won the title last season by 10 points and a 10-goal better goal difference as well. As Tell has nicked the ball, Szoboszlai is trying to get back at him. Tell down the left-hand side for Tottenham Hotspur. Tries a bit of jiggery-pokery and he pokes it straight out of play for a goal kick. Does the 20-year-old 11th start of the season for Matthias Tell.
Yeah, he had nothing on. There was no support position. Spence hadn't made his way up in a support position. There was no ball inside the penalty area to feet to Solanke or Richarlison, so he had to try a little bit of outrageous skill. Got it wrong. Goal kick.
Oh, and then he gets absolutely poleaxed as he gets in the way of a clearance from Szoboszlai. Had a play on this near touchline, and he was thumped in the face, or the side of the head was Matthias Tell. Physio straight on there to check him. It'll be a throw into Liverpool. It's a really stilted atmosphere, though, isn't it? 7.5 minutes played. You know, Spurs fans trying to find their voice away to our left-hand side.
There's not a seat spare either. It's absolutely jammed to the rafters.
It's the Spurs fans making the noise. Liverpool fans will probably want to respond at some point, but the Kop is fairly still. There's no noise. It's rather silent, subdued. Yeah, I mean, soporific, Steve. It's almost.
You're such a topper. I'm going to have to look that
up. Well, you mentioned about the fact that you had some nosebag downstairs, and it was rather insipid pasta, and you were talking about how you'd love a roast lunch. It feels as if everyone's come here.
I was being a bit picky,
with a heavy Yorkshire pudding or two sitting on the stomach, and they put the feet up. Maybe a blast of something that you don't want, that Granny used to be guilty of after Christmas lunch, and put your feet up on the watch the telly. It's all a bit.
Well, we're 8 minutes in, and it's 81% possession, and Spurs dropped to the edge of their box, and so
We haven't had a shot.
No, until you see something a little bit exciting. Look, job done from Spurs, really, because if the crowd's subdued, that's not the worst thing. But the fear here is that they get trapped in their own half for long periods of time.
Yeah. Dragerson with a header away, so Bosley wins it again into midfield. McAllister's able to nibble it away towards Robertson, and now space opening up, and he puts it out of play, and a loud groan as Andy Robertson hooked it out of the play on the right-hand side of Spurs' defence, and that will be a throw-in which will be taken by Pedro Porro. Yeah, your TV's not working either, so that doesn't work, does it, for Sunday lunch, Steve? Do you want me to give it a kick or something?
No, it just needs an on button, we can't find it.
Is there an on button? What we don't want is we turn ourselves off so people can't hear us, Steve, by fiddling around with that button underneath the desk. Anyway, as Steve looks for the on button for the TV screen, here's Jed Spence, pokes it out wide to Tell on the left-hand side. This is where Spurs have been looking to probe forward when they can. Into midfield, met by Pape Matar. Tell has it again. Bit of strapping on his right wrist, by the way. Tries to push it beyond Szoboszlai, who's nicked the ball clear. Goes back into Joe Gomez, who pushes it to his goalkeeper, and it's swept away by Alisson towards the halfway line. Dragerson with a header. Here's Gravenbach, slip forward. Wirtz is onside. Away from one man. He's got two men scare. Gakpo inside the penalty area. Takes a touch. And that's a dreadful shot which goes looping over the top of the bar and out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot of those moments where we just saw it with Robertson breaking down the left-hand side, where Spurs are compacting play and really boxing in on one side. If you get the play right and you have a little transfer, there are going to be numerical overloads on the far side of the pitch or ahead of the ball. And we've just seen one there that Liverpool just simply haven't made the most of. It's a really poor effort.
Well, we've got the screens working, Steve. It's just nothing on it. Here's Pape Matar inside the centre circle for Tottenham Hotspur. They've lost 6 on the bounce coming into this game, including, of course, away in Madrid in midweek by 5-2. Oh,
no.
So that's the rugby league you've got on now, Steve, which is good. It's a good start. Keep going. Get Neighbours in a minute. That's not on anymore, is it, Neighbours? They were threatening, and I used the word threatening. That's Chelsea gets Man United in the WSL, Steve.
Brilliant.
Or the Women's FA Cup. As that's been played in towards Solanke, who's got an option to his left-hand side. Solanke inside the penalty area, scrapes it square, and it's cleared on the edge of the 6-yard line. There was Sousa attacking it. He get there. Liverpool has scrambled it away, but that's what Spurs are playing for, that one chance to break clear, and then it's looped away by Szoboszlai straight into midfield, picked up by Sousa, thought about a long range shot, and it's palmed over the bar by Alisson. It's a corner kick to Spurs.
Yeah, excellent couple of moments for Spurs. I love that break down the left-hand side. Solanke, and I'll tell you what, he was so close to getting that ball in to the right areas, but Robertson covered round from left back and made a wonderful challenge just to avert the danger, and then that long range shot just tipped over by Alisson.
I think you've locked the team. Chelsea have scored. Aggie Beaver-Jones by the looks of it. From your screen, Steve, it's a corner kick Spurs, whose fans are behind that goal away to our left-hand side. Here it comes, and it's going to be swept in from the left-hand side. They were practicing a corner routine before kick-off towards the far post. Scrambled out of play. The goalkeeper says, I was fouled. Chris Kavanagh says, yes, I'm going to agree. It's highlights we're seeing. In the League Cup final.
I've given up on that. I'm going to watch that giant screen.
It's the League Cup final, Steve.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the giant one in front if I can. But yeah, look, good moments for Spurs. Excellent build-up play down the left. I thought the corner, the set piece was excellent as well. Free kick at the far post. Liverpool break down the right.
Chelsea won the League Cup final against Manchester United. That's what they were showing us, Steve. What have you done, Steve?
I'm just going to pull.
Yeah.
Just ignore that and watch that big one down there.
Okay. Escape to the country is on the other side, Steve. Escape from relegation is the challenge that Spurs are after, and that was a great chance to take the lead in this game with 12.5 minutes played. Unable to do so from that corner kick. Szoboszlai. And again, it does exemplify why Liverpool fans are a bit nervous.
Yeah. I mean, again, if you get the defensive side of this setup right, and they're forcing at the moment, they're trying to stop all balls going through the centre, and they're allowing Liverpool to play into wide areas, which they're reluctant to do. Actually, they're trying to force it down the centre, and when they go out wide, Spurs then apply the pressure. But if they can have those 1 or 2 counter-attacking moments where they create 1 or 2 opportunities, and they can frustrate Liverpool, I think the crowd, as you've quite rightly said, is a little subdued. It's not the normal atmosphere we're getting here.
Gamora into the penalty area. Liverpool have had it cleared away from them, but they've put it back out wide towards Gakpo on that, Gravenbach on that left-hand side, swirls it back in field to McAllister. McAllister's ball bounces once, it's gathered by Vicario in his 6-yard box, and Spurs slow things down, which is what they're going to do, but he can't hold on for too long because the referee will penalise him. He's counting, drops it down to his feet. 14 minutes played. Tottenham Hotspur 0-0 here at Anfield against Liverpool on BBC Radio London. Risky pass though, and Szoboszlai picks it up into the penalty area. Wirtz takes it away, does he? Not quite. Kevin Danso makes the challenge. Good challenge too, and it's scrambled away over the halfway line for Virgil van Dijk to prod back to his goalkeeper Alisson Becker, who is one of those unique goalkeepers. His stats read 330 games for Liverpool and a goal, Steve, of course. Remember, he scored a header. Was it against Aston Villa?
You'll have to tell me that.
As on the left-hand side, it's Dragusan receiving it from Vicario, slams it forward onto the chest of Tell, and then he pulls back on Szoboszlai on the halfway line, and it's a free kick that goes Liverpool's way. 15 played, 0-0, BBC Radio London, but stats will show you. Shots on target for Liverpool 0, shots on target for Spurs 2.
They've had a couple of good moments. And at the moment it's all about this defensive structure and trying to frustrate and then pick Liverpool off as they overcommit.
Frimpong down the right hand side tries to get beyond Spence, and has he done so? Spence got there first. Corner kick awarded.
They're not sure.
Goal kick awarded. Well, the Liverpool fans don't agree with that. Jed Spence got back at him. Frimpong got wide of Jed Spence. The Copper not happy about that decision. We'll have a look though. Well, it's a 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, in real time it looked like a corner, but it's not been given, so we crack on. Spurs have taken that and have launched it down the pitch.
They certainly have. Szoboszlai with a header away. Back it comes from Archie Gray to the thigh of Richarlison. Here is Solanke. Scored a couple of goals in recent weeks, Dominic Solanke, since his return. Tell down the left-hand side again of the Spurs attack, rolls it infield. Jed Spence gets away from a couple of challenges, attempted a shot, blocked clear temporarily by McAllister, who's putting a little bit of pressure this time on Dragusan. It goes all the way back from the halfway line from Pedro Porro to his goalkeeper Vicario. Launches long, Szoboszlai's underneath this, cushions a header to his goalkeeper Alisson Becker. Liverpool, of course, come into this game with a couple of home wins back-to-back. Their form has been a little bit scrapey. It's 7 wins in 10 in all competitions, Steve, but defeat to Galatasaray and that loss to Wolverhampton Wanderers in the league, which got everyone's nerves a little bit jangly. They beat Wolves in the FA Cup to set up a quarter-final tie against Manchester City, did Liverpool. Chelsea playing Port Vale, Arsenal taking on Southampton, and West Ham United against Leeds United. The battle of the Uniteds. Here is McAllister, bounces off with a challenge from Richarlison, still has the ball at his feet, then he gets fouled by Archie Gray. Just 2 quick feet there from Alexis McAllister, really, and just nibbled by Gray, and that's a free kick, 25 yards out?
Yeah, I mean, Ngoma was in a decent spot. He's actually wide left, but I thought he was going to feed him and give him a chance to go 1v1 and drive into the penalty box, but he's just had 1 or 2 Spurs players in front, but that's quick feet. He's not known for his bursts of pace, McAllister, but he is known for moving that ball. Ball manipulation is excellent, and he's just gone from right to left and in between 2 players, drawn the contact, down he goes. I mean, that's 26 yards out, 10 yards left of centre opportunity.
Yeah, it certainly is. Liverpool are sizing this up at this moment in time. We know that Szoboszlai can hit them from this sort of distance, the Hungarian. He's shaping up to shoot as well, the 25-year-old. Here it goes, left to centre, right-footed. 26 yards out, Vicario's on his goal line, defending the Kop end away to our right-hand side. Szoboszlai with the free kick. Oh, it's a great goal! Dominic Szoboszlai gives Liverpool the lead. Vicario, could he have got across to it more? He looks at his defenders, he got a hand to it, he couldn't keep it out, and Liverpool take the lead at Anfield at the Kop end. It's Liverpool 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Yeah, that changes everything. I did say that it's been a good start for Spurs. They've had 1 or 2 great moments, but when you've got a free kick specialist in the opposition and you give away free kicks that distance, it's almost a perfect distance. You can get it up and down and over the wall with a bit of power. You know, you're 5 yards closer and it becomes a bit loopy.
Yeah.
But because it was 26 yards out, that gives Szoboszlai the opportunity to get a little bit more power, and that's what was done for Vicario. He got across to his right, okay.
Yeah, couldn't keep it out.
Excellent strike.
Yeah, just had enough room, didn't you, to get over that wall, to use the wall. By the time there's the goalkeeper, you're reacting. It's difficult, and Liverpool are 1-0 up against Tottenham Hotspur here at Anfield. Sun shining on the stand, which emblazons the Sir Kenny Dalglish name over on that far side. And Spurs are trailing with 19 played, Stephen. The job's just got a little harder as a consequence. That defensive shape was strong.
Yeah. It'd been an okay start.
They've given away the ball again, and Wirtz almost wins it inside the centre circle. Danso's done well to scrape it back. Igor Tudor trying to get his team forward. Spence will not get on the end of this loopy pass over the top from Matthias Tell. That's a goal kick. Steve Brown.
Yeah, I just think it was excellent from McAllister. You know, I don't think it was even Spurs were guilty of bringing him down. He just drew contact because his feet were so quick, and he manoeuvred that ball from left to right to left, and drew the contact. But once Szoboszlai gets that opportunity, it was just him over the ball. He wasn't trying to hide what he was trying to do. The only criticism I have, without seeing the replays, it did feel like Vicario was a long way over to his left-hand side, leaving that right-hand side wide open.
Yeah.
It was a long way to get across and make the save.
Well, the TV director, whoever they are, seem to be making that point, because they just focused in on Antonin Kinski inside the penalty, inside the Spurs bench, and then looked at Vicario, and it's a too easy a turn from Gakpo. Here he goes, edge of the penalty area, and he puts his shot. Does Gravenbach over the angle of crossbar and post.
Yeah, and here's the issue. You're going towards the Kop, you're 1-0 up, the atmosphere's changed, suddenly you can't sit in defensive shape. What you definitely can't do is give balls away, straight balls into midfield that get pounced on. You've got to really keep concentration levels high here. What you don't want to do is lose this game before half-time. Very much on the back foot, and that's how quick momentum can shift in a match.
Liverpool have struggled to score goals in the first half, but in that win against West Ham United here, of course, from set pieces, they got 3 in the first half. They were 3-0 up. West Ham United reacted in the second half. It was 2-2 in the second half, but a 5-2 defeat. And Liverpool got their tails up. Wirtz again on the half turn, spins it down the right hand side. Frimpong won't get there this time. It bobbles out of play for a Tottenham throw halfway inside their own half on the left, which Jed Spence will take. But I think the point I was trying to make before that chance fell to Gravenbach in the end, was that they were seemingly focusing on Vicario, and where they had stepped too far over to the left, so even though the free kick was hit with power, he could only get a palm to it, and he couldn't really keep it out.
Yeah, the thing is, if you leave that gap, normally that's your first step.
Yeah.
So as Szoboszlai's coming up to take, you step to the right
at that point,
so that your weight transfer is going to the right. It may have just left that first step a little bit too late. He has left it too late because it's flown into the back of the net. But he is a free kick specialist. He's exceptional at it.
Frimpong. Gakpo was being hauled down by Dragusan, the Romanian international. His nickname previous to joining Spurs at Juve was the Bodyguard. Steve? I'm not sure if that's because he's a favourite fan of the film with Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston, or more to do with physical attributes. I told you Escape to the Country Beyond, Steve, if you were patient, so you've got that on now. I think they're looking at Dorset by the looks of it. Here is Szoboszlai with this free kick. I don't know, tell us in a minute. I wouldn't buy that barn. Look at the state. That is a fixer-upper. Here comes Szoboszlai with the free kick, halfway inside the Spurs half, in towards the 6-yard box, headed away this time by Solanke, cleared towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Liverpool retain possession. It's going to be Gravenbach towards Wirtz, touches it off towards McAllister. Still got Wirtz in support. It's all very congested. Has to be poked backwards to Szoboszlai again. He delivers far post this time. It'll be kept in on that far side by Ngamoa. Well, he has done, and finds Robertson.
No, gone out.
No, the flag had gone up.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a Spurs throw in the right back berth, which Pedro Porro will take. Trailing by a goal to nil. Szoboszlai with a free kick. And it will be Tottenham, yellow shirts, shorts and socks, who will take this throw in on that right hand side. 23.5 minutes played, 1-0 to Liverpool. Earlier today, Crystal Palace played out a 0-0 draw with Leeds United, who missed a penalty through Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but also had a player sent off in the first half. Palace didn't register a single shot on target, Steve. Running out of juice, I think, is fair to say, for Crystal Palace.
The job was done in the first half of the season, and obviously the problems have arisen from the manager announcing that he doesn't want to continue on next year, and that will remain, and a decision will be made, and maybe the fans make it almost untenable at some point. And Crystal Palace hierarchy make a decision before the end of the season. But yeah, a little bit of unrest. But I mean, Bradley and Andy sounded thoroughly bored to tears, didn't they? To be fair, and I feel for them, because you have games like that, and it's very difficult to commentate and summarise. Yeah,
and Gamoa tries to dart down the left-hand side. The ball out wide to him is a little bit overly hit, so it'll be a goal kick to Tottenham Hotspur. Fulham played out a 0-0 draw with Nottingham Forest. Guess how many shots on target Fulham had, Steve?
Oh, we're going 0.
We are going 0.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
What's happened to football? What has happened to football? Listen, I've been 2 games this week, and although Charlton picked up 4 points, had 3 shots on target in 2 games.
Yeah,
it does seem to be a lot more difficult in this day and age to create an opportunity.
Well, Chelsea winning the Women's League Cup, of course, earlier today, beating Manchester United 2-0. Everton beating Spurs women 2-1. Earlier today as well in the WSL, Arsenal beating London City Lionesses 2-0. Liverpool 2-0 victors over Leicester City, and it finished Aston Villa 0, Manchester City 0. City top of the table on 43 points, Manchester United 34, Chelsea 33, Arsenal 32. As a throw-in goes Liverpool's way just inside their own half of the pitch, which Cody Gakpo's got. He's got, talk about strapping. That's almost like an oven mitt he's got on his right hand there, protecting that wrist of his.
Boxers put on before they put their actual glove on, isn't it? He's got it right taped up. But they actually manoeuvred the ball really well, great position, and had a great break from Gravenbach from midfield beyond the back line. Tottenham's back line didn't pick him out.
Gamoa down the left-hand side for Liverpool, halfway inside the Spurs half, up against Pedro Porro, dives in, can't win the ball. Here come Liverpool again, and he flicks it out wide towards Frimpong on the right, down near the Kop end, down near the byline. He's up against Jed Spence. He tries to stand him up. Here's Szoboszlai, who flicks it into centre midfield, delivered by Gomez. Poor cross. Van Dijk gets to the knockdown from Spurs though, and Liverpool trying to recycle again. And Gamoa and Robertson this time exchanging a pass or two, leading on 26 minutes by a goal to 0 of the home team. And now it's going to be Cody Gakpo with a shot, which is blocked by the onrushing Danzo, and then that's just, I think that opened up his knee a little bit.
I'm not sure what. Well, by the looks of what he's holding, if you catch one on the end of your toes as you're coming out, your weight's all going forward. You put your leg out to block, and it just hits the toe, and it really does open up the ligaments.
Yeah,
and it is painful. I've had many of those, but it was a brave block. It's good to see actually, because again Gakpo picking his spot. We've just seen him shoot just wide just moments earlier. You've got to get on top of him quick when he gets into shooting range. I thought Danso did a good job.
19-year-old James Rosewell is the man that would come on, I suppose, in defence. They've got nothing really because of the injuries. It's horrendous. The injury list and the suspension list. Mickey Van der Ven as well suspended for Tottenham Hotspur for this game this afternoon, as it goes all the way back to Vicario, Kop end of the ground. All in shadow, temperature dipping as well, Steve. I should have put my coat on before the start of the first half. 27 minutes played. Have to do it at half time if we can.
I think we should.
Our colleague Sahel Sahi very sensibly brings a heater to games.
Every game.
And could have done with that. 1-0 Liverpool lead. Spurs with a free kick. Archie Gray rolls it towards Pape Matar Sarr. Looking to avoid a 7th straight defeat, Tottenham Hotspur. And the away form has been the one shining light, but certainly, it's 5 wins, 5 defeats, and 4 draws so far this season. So that's 19 points of the 29 picked up for Tottenham Hotspur. As Liverpool now have it and ripple forward through Szoboszlai, plays it in towards Gakpo, back to Szoboszlai and McAllister, who dinks it out wide to the left-hand side, and Gamoa Very few inside the penalty area. The youngster whips in a cross, headed away towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Verts with it again, pings it infield, gets it back. They're trying to walk it in, Liverpool, at this moment in time. Richarlison has won it back, and then Tal is able to escape down the left-hand side. He's being hassled and harried by Szoboszlai, who just stops his forward momentum. And then the ball is won back by Florian Wirtz, and then Joe Gomez marches away from Richarlison. And then Liverpool's check back from going forward. I mean, this is maybe...
they're overplaying, massively overdoing it. And it reminds me of that Arsenal side, early 2000s, that wanted to walk the ball into the back of it. It almost embarrassed you. I don't think Liverpool are trying to take the mickey or anything, but they are guilty here of overplaying in great positions.
You do wonder whether it's, the slot machine as opposed to the Klopp, whatever you want to call it.
I couldn't help you there.
The Kloppites, whatever it was, is that Jurgen Klopp, you always got a sense that it was like, go forward first. Just think, get the ball, go.
Goals. He said, let's get 2-3.
Yeah. Whereas
he was relentless, wasn't he?
This team, as that's a foul by Gakpo inside the Liverpool half of the pitch, preventing any forward momentum from Jed Spence, and it will be a free kick which will go Spurs' way. But it's like they just check back, they check back. 29.5 minutes gone, 1-0 they lead though, I suppose, so they're not going to argue with that here at Anfield. But the Spurs fans making a bit of noise. They got a free kick just inside the Liverpool half. They've not had too much possession at this point in the Liverpool half of the pitch. They had a couple of early chances, Steve, which they didn't convert, conceding a Szoboszlai free kick. Trailing by a goal to 0 at this moment in time. They've taken the free kick. Here's Spence inside the centre circle. He's going to chip it towards the left-hand side. Poor. Straight out of play beyond Archie Gray, and a throw-in goes Liverpool's way.
Yeah, again, you load the box. And it was a little deep maybe for you are just hanging it up there if you put it in from that position. But when you manoeuvre the ball inside to change the angle, you've got to hit the right person. And Spence has missed every single Spurs player. One bouncing out. But yeah, the games at the moment, Spurs they were really bright at turning defensive shape into an attacking attempt, and that's disappeared ever so slightly out of the game for them. The goal has really knocked the wind out of their sails.
Right, forward ball, looking for the run of Richarlison, picked up by Alisson. He read that well, good start position, bowls it out wide to Andy Robertson. Liverpool win it back inside the Spurs half. Robinson header towards Gakpo, onside, so says the assistant referee. Gakpo's cross cleared over the bar by Pape Matar, and it will be... I'm rhyming quite a lot at the moment, Steve. I've just noticed I'm putting in quite a lot of rhymes. I had one before which I had it was away, grey and something else. And then that one was put over the bar by Pape Matar. I didn't know it, Steve, but maybe after the game I'm going to go and do a bit of rapping on that stage.
I'd suggest you don't.
Listen, it's not going to be very good, and we won't make much money out of it. But if anything else crops up, note it down. I'm going to lyricise it. Anyway, it's not intentional, by the way. It's a corner kick which Szoboszlai will take over on the left-hand side at the Kop end of the ground. Right-footed, curled, near post, headed away by Solanke. Back it comes from Gravenbach. Another header away by Tottenham Hotspur. Then Tell's giving it straight to Moa. And eventually Szoboszlai is going to slide it to Frimpong inside the centre circle. 1-0 Liverpool lead, 32 minutes played. Steve Brown.
Yeah, and they're getting stuck, aren't they, in a defensive shape. Look, I mean, if you look at where Gomez and Van Dijk are, they're 15 yards into the Spurs half. They're just pinning them in. And it's a real low block from Spurs, so you've got to be really bright. And I just wonder if Liverpool can do into-feet set to the edge of the box and start having a couple of little shots from the edge of the box, because balls in from wide areas seem to be comfortably dealt with.
Little dink over the top for Ngamoa. Left-hand side of the Spurs penalty area, just shepherded behind though by Spurs defending, and that will be a goal kick which Vicario will take. 1-0 Liverpool, 32 played.
Sorry, Phil, they're so deep defending. The first line's in almost along the 6-yard line, if not a little bit. The second line's just above the penalty spot, and there is an opportunity to get the ball into players inside the penalty area and have a little set for McAllister, for a Gravenbach to come on and have a shot. You're going to be no more than 20-21 yards out when they set, because such is the depth of that Spurs back line. They've got to find a way to be to get the ball to stick higher up the pitch so they can have a sustained spell of pressure to maybe get an opportunity themselves.
Just 2 wins in the last 21 in the Premier League for Spurs, Brentford and Palace. Only one of 2 home wins in the Premier League this season. That Brentford game, Burnley was the other one. Dragison's managed to wriggle clear of Gakpo into the halfway line. Liverpool have won it back, certainly for the time being, and they have it with Szoboszlai. It's got Wirtz making a run beyond him, slips it towards Florian Wirtz, right-hand side of the penalty area, spins, pirouettes, turns. Here's Moa with it, driven shot, which is blocked by a backtracking Pedro Porro, and Richarlison runs it away. And they suddenly remember here at Anfield that he used to play for Everton, amongst other things. And that's a free kick, which has been awarded for a foul on Sousa.
Yeah, and a bit of welcome relief, because again that was another decent opportunity for Liverpool, and as the ball got transferred from right to left, Moa has got a little bit of time and space, and I think he can do a little bit better. He looks like he's really tricky when he's on the front foot and running at players. If you're in a penalty area, I thought he could have actually done a little bit more than take the shot when he did from that angle. I thought we could have moved the ball from left to right.
11 to go,
far post. Before the break,
1-0 Liverpool at Anfield, the current home of the champions. They will not be the champions. They will not be the champions this season, but they won't get a much easier throw-in given their way. And then Radu Dragusan has had a minute or two there. He's first put it out to play needlessly for a throw-in, and then he's committed what can only be called in rugby that would be penalised as tackling the man without the ball, and it's a free kick to Liverpool halfway inside the Spurs half of the pitch.
We go 18 touches in the opposition box for Liverpool, 1 for Spurs, and that's where we're at, and we did expect that. Look, all you've got to concentrate on from now till half-time is not conceding the second. The second is disaster.
Szoboszlai with the free kick, scored from the first free kick that he took. It's in towards the 6-yard box, scraped away by Tottenham Hotspur again. Andy Robertson goes scampering over there. Jed Spence gets there ahead of him, does Jed Spence, who has rolled it into the feet of Richarlison. Liverpool trying to get back, but it's then McAllister who picks up the knock away. Here is Gravenberch, and it's a shot from Cody Gakpo, which is off the base of the post and then battered away and up in the air. Meantime, there is a Liverpool player down in the shape of Ryan Gravenberch. Cody Gakpo escaping inside the penalty area. Told you it was Dorset. It's off the base of the post, Steve, and a bit of a let-off for Spurs.
Yeah, Gravenberch getting the injury on the turnover. Excellent lunge to just poke the ball away. I think it was from Richarlison, and from that point, ball went into McAllister, quickly fizzed around the corner, and it found itself at the feet of Gakpo, and it's a strike that beats Vicario low to his right, cannons off the post. Tottenham just living a bit dangerously. You've got to be a little bit quicker in possession than that. If you're Richarlison, they do hunt you down quickly on the turnover.
Looking for his 50th Liverpool goal, Cody Gakpo, 49 at the moment, of which 8 have come this season. Spurs swing it from right to left. It's Dragusan, the Romanian, who then gallops forward towards the halfway line, slides it towards Jed Spence on the left, manages to nibble his way infield, still inside his own half of the pitch. He's reversing it towards Sousa. Robinson, though, is there to chest it back. Got plaudits for his performance away at Wolves in the FA Cup. He tries to send it forward. He was, of course, being linked with a move to Spurs in the January transfer window, was the Scottish international. Getting a bit of game time now, as here is Gakpo again, evades Richarlison, tries to leave a little nibble on him. Ngamoa finds Gakpo, who is dispossessed by Richarlison, then slides in, tries to take it away from Solanke, and that's come off Dominic Solanke for a Liverpool throw-in. They take it to McAllister. Frimpong is calling for it on the right-hand side. It's slipped instead to Szoboszlai, the shaven-headed. Nice to Arne Slot, watches on from the sidelines. As here goes Frimpong towards the byline, tries to dink out across, and that's a goal kick.
That one was a goal kick.
That's
good defending from Spence. I have to say, he's being run at by Frimpong, who's quite tricky and a little pacey, and Spence has done very well in that left-back spot so far.
The highest away scorers last season were Liverpool, had the meanest home defence with 16 conceded. This term they've conceded the same number of goals, and they've still got games to go, Steve, at home.
Yeah, I think
have Liverpool.
I think there's a stat that says if they lose a game from now to the end of the season, that's 10 losses. They haven't done that since 2015-16, I believe.
Yeah.
So the losses are what... You're right in what you said to me off air, which was there was a period, wasn't it? And you gave me the date.
End of September to early December.
It
2 wins in 10 in the Premier League.
Derailed their season, and I do think it's a rebuilding year, mind. But yeah, Van Dijk there just a bit guilty of going through the back of Richarlison. Was a little bit late, if I'm honest. He could have made a bit more of that.
Dragusin loses the ball too cheaply. Liverpool now try and spring with a bit of a counter-attack into the feet of Frimpong. The slide rule pass from McAllister, though, cut out by Matthias Matasar. Then Tell has the ball on this near touchline, and a throw-in is awarded Liverpool's way as a consequence. But yeah, I don't know. They don't look like it's a different sort of team.
Oh no, it is. Absolutely. I don't think it's as strong as yet. I do think that they're working on things, and I do think they'll have to have I know they're not going to be too bad this year, but they will have to improve next year. But what I would say is the one thing that I am impressed with from this performance up to this point is how quickly they react and try and win the ball back. Yeah. They do cause opposition a lot of problem in how they press.
Curve it out wide to the right hand side. That's a good ball from Wirtz, and he finds Frimpong, who now cuts in field from the right hand touchline. So Boslai's dropped into midfield as well. Here's Graven back. McAllister slides it to the left of centre midfield, and Robertson, Ungamora with it, little step over, gets away from Porro, and then plays it to no one really, and that's been hacked away, and Alisson has to come a long way out. Whoa! And he just manages to push it across to Van Dijk, away from Richarlison. Wirtz halfway inside the Spurs half again, chipped over the top, a little cushioned header down this time. McAllister making a nuisance of himself. Spurs are trying to clear their lines, they do. Tal receives from Spence, who's going to go for the run beyond him. Tal gallops away from McAllister into the centre circle, chips it forward. So Boslai's there to bring it under control, rolls it back to his goalkeeper. He was put under pressure by Richarlison, though, was the Brazilian goalkeeper, by his compatriot, and it's a throw-in conceded on this near touchline for Tottenham Hotspur. Again, that almost looked like a foul throw. The number of almost foul throws you see as well from Pape Matar this time, but the referee and the assistant were happy with it. 40.5 minutes gone, Liverpool leading by a goal to 0 against Tottenham Hotspur. More clouds gathering around this part of the northwest on the banks of the Mersey, just up from this city centre. Through Stanley Park is the Goodison Park, where Everton women play these days. The men's team, of course, now occupy their new spanking stadium down by the docks. Steve?
Yeah, I've not been. It's supposed to be magnificent.
The Hill Dickinson, named after Bernard Hill, the former Boys from the Black Stuff actor, and David Dickinson from... It's not, Steve, but wouldn't you love it if it was? Here comes Gamoa. Trying to take on Porro, gets away from Porro, then gets away from a second challenge, still with the ball at his feet, needed a bit of end product, but he looks wriggly, does the former Chelsea youth team player, born in Havering, East Londoner, and Liverpool have it in centre midfield with McAllister. Gamoa again to McAllister. Liverpool trying to create an opportunity. Everyone back from Spurs in or around the edge of their own 18-yard box. 1-0 Liverpool lead, 41 played.
Yeah, I mean it's tough, because as soon as they lose possession, Spurs, how do you get out of this setup?
And Gamoa again, as he pushed that time, he is. Free kicks being awarded against Sousa, who arrived in January for Tottenham Hotspur, gives away the free kick. Bit of frustration, shakes his head, does the former Santos player. Brazilian under-17 international, and a free kick with 3 to go before the break.
Yeah.
3 yards up from the dead ball line, 2 yards outside the Spurs penalty area.
Yeah, I think if this game opened up a little bit, and Gamoa would have a great deal of joy. He looks very quick off the mark, drives at players inside and out. The one thing I think he's guilty of is when he goes from left to right and opens up that channel on the inside, he keeps trying to pass it into feet.
Yeah.
And I think he can actually unload a curling shot towards Vicario's left-hand post. Be a little bit more selfish. You've created a half a yard, get your shot away.
Szoboszlai is going to take charge of this free kick. The Hungarian puts his left hand up in the air, drives it in towards the 6-yard box, headed away. It was aiming for Cody Gakpo. Gravenbach picks up possession, slips it towards the edge of the Spurs penalty area. Solanke made the block. Here's Van Dijk onside, nibbles a header down, gets a chance, 6-yard box, it goes beyond everyone. McAllister couldn't stick out a boot. And Gamoa with it though, he's up against Porro again, slips it infield to Wirtz, takes a touch, Wirtz his shot, he hits it really, I think it bounced off his own heel, and then Jed Spence guides it out of play for a goal kick. And again, the assistant on this near touchline is not going to use, he is flatly refusing to use his flag whenever he can, Steve, and that's been given us a Spurs, has it been given us a free kick?
I think they've penalised Van Dijk for a sort of a pull or a block.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, you know, it goes to Wirtz and that's just poor technique. He's hit the ball onto his left foot and the ball's just risen up. But when Van Dijk puts that across, you're just praying someone's anticipated and made a run into the right areas. Nobody did, and it just flashes across the goal mouth. But see, I think Liverpool would be a bit frustrated. They haven't got a second, which probably would put the game out of reach of Spurs. But
Solanke with a header to Richarlison, edge of the Liverpool penalty area. Szoboszlai is going to possibly concede a corner kick. Spurs though have played it back to Tal, right-footed cross, far post, Richarlison puts it wide.
It's unlucky.
What a chance for Richarlison, he did really well to get on the end of that, and it's just gone scraping wide of Alisson's left hand upright.
Yep, he did really well actually to get onto that, fed the ball out left and took up a great position in the middle of the 6-yard box. That's a wonderful cross, and he's done it ever so well to backpedal. He was twisting away, he's got good contact on it, and he's tried to go for Alisson's bottom left-hand corner. It is inches wide. Alisson can't get anywhere near that. That's a really good attempt from Richarlison.
Yeah.
I was just saying about how they're going to struggle to maybe create, and then they go and do that. That was a really good opportunity.
Well, he's had a couple of chances now, Richarlison, in this game. He could have scored for Tottenham Hotspur. He's not been able to do so. I think it's probably why, you know, the indication as to why Liverpool fans are nervy.
Yeah, are frustrated at the season perhaps, because they have dominated in every department, but they do look a little vulnerable at times on the counter-attack.
McAllister's won it back though, and here go Liverpool through midfield. Wirtz though is shoved off the ball. He claimed he got smashed. Nothing given by the referee. Turnover of possession by Liverpool, and it's picked up by Alisson inside his own 18-yard box. Wirtz gets himself slowly to his feet. The referee says, I'm going to go and check on him, so don't use the ball yet. Breaks play. We'll get reaction from Oliver Glasner and from Marco Silva. 0-0 draws for Crystal Palace and Fulham in the early kickoffs this afternoon. That's to come at half-time here on BBC Radio London as well. And here we go, because he stopped the whistle. He's got to bounce the ball. Yep. So referee has to go and run into the penalty area, let the ball bounce, and then Alisson picks it up again, which...
Yeah, rules are rules.
Yeah, rules are rules, Steve, yeah, absolutely. If football didn't exist, what would referees end up doing? We all know what they'd be doing. They would be... They're not even called traffic wardens, Steve, these days. They are civil enforcement officers. And that's what referees would be, Steve. They would be civil enforcement... I don't know what they can enforce. They're certainly not very civil, Steve, some of them. Referees I'm talking about. And they wouldn't be allowed to get in any huddles, which is a real shame. As Liverpool try and win it back, there was a little ooh and an ah as it was trickling back towards the Spurs penalty area, but Danso had that under control, did Kevin Danso. 19th start of the season for the former Reading youth team player, and Milton Keynes. Made his senior debut for Augsburg before playing for the likes of Southampton and Fortuna Dusseldorf. Went to Lens, Austrian international. Liverpool have won it back. Here's Szoboszlai. It was Joe Gomez who won. That's been given away by Van Dijk. That was dreadful from him. And Spence has a chance to prod it towards Matthias Tel. He's being tracked back by Frimpong, and then he nutmegs Szoboszlai, and Frimpong concedes the corner kick. So right at the end of this first half, have we played 2 minutes of added on time?
Yep, well, that's got the Spurs fans going.
It certainly has.
Yep, got them out of their seats. They're right behind Tel there in terms of the work he put in to win that corner. Well, and they have had one or two opportunities. I mean, they've defended deep. They've only conceded the one, which was a superb free kick, but they have had one or two opportunities.
Again, they muster at the far post, and then Dragerson makes a march towards the near post, and it goes in towards the 6-yard box. It's palmed away from the downward header from Richarlison, on target from him, but it was then cleared by Alisson, and the referee blows the half-time whistle. So, let's face it, Spurs have had chances in these games. They've had to defend deeply. They've had to spend a lot of time just looking after their own 18-yard box, but Richarlison has forced a couple of saves from Alisson, including there. A couple of set pieces have been worrisome from the home team, but they have got the only goal of the game. So Bosley with a free kick, beating Vicario, got a hand to it, couldn't keep it out. But Spurs have had, I think, technically more clear-cut opportunities, especially from a couple of set pieces, without finding the back of the net. This game is far from over. The second half is to come, but Liverpool do have the lead at the break. It's Liverpool 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Total Sport Live.
BBC Radio London.
Well, it's not been a disaster that people may have predicted that Spurs were going to suffer in this game so far. They are trailing by a goal to 0, but they have created some opportunities. They've been patient and disciplined as much as they can be defensively. And then when they've had that chance, try to expose maybe a little bit of vulnerability for Liverpool. All they needed was for one of those chances to go in. It would be all square, Steve.
Yeah, and they started quite brightly as well. You had the Sousa shot that was tipped over. You had Solanke breaking down left, who cut the ball back in. Robertson cleared from the centre of the box really, really well. And Richarlison's causing trouble early inside that penalty area. The header just wide, just moments before the header he's just had there. That was really well saved by Alisson. I actually thought it had beaten him, and he just clawed it out last minute low to his left. So they have had 3 or 4 excellent moments inside the Liverpool, and they look more dynamic actually because of the way Liverpool defend, and they gamble everything in the front area. They do leave themselves a little bit exposed defensively, and Spurs have had 1 or 2 great opportunities because of that. And I don't mind the low block either. Let's remind ourselves that the free kick is exquisite. It's exceptional.
Yeah.
You know, Vicario. That, you know, I let the pundits in the studios dissect it because we've obviously watching countrywide or whatever, not got replays at the moment. But I let them dissect it. But I just felt as he set up, I just thought he's a couple of yards too far to his left here. Yeah. But it's still a wonderful strike from Szoboszlai, and that's the difference between the two sides. It certainly hasn't been what we thought it might become, which was 2, 3 and 4, and Spurs struggling. They've given a good account of themselves. It may look a little bit awkward at times because they're without possession of the ball for long periods, sitting deep, and it looks very, very safe. But they are creating 1 or 2 great opportunities at the other end. So you know, they're hanging in there. Certainly, you know, in with a shout of finding an equaliser second 45. Yeah, and that's maybe you can also pick up the nerves from the home fans as well. That's the other thing, Steve. And I think you can use that to your advantage, can't you? Really. Because there is a little bit of nervousness around here. I think it's important that they feel it's important for them to win this game. There is an expectation for them to win this game this afternoon, and they are winning, but it's not comfortable as a consequence of that. Escape to the country, by the way, is what it is, Steve. They're down in Dorset looking at Lulworth Cove at this moment in time. Lovely. You must know. I don't know why. I don't know how I've managed to find
it's amazing.
Our TV
no one else has got it.
No, our TV wasn't even on, so you know, I'll try and get someone over and help us out when we're done here. But yeah, look, I mean, it's popped them back up into 4th. Yeah. But you don't get a sense that the home crowd have enjoyed this season. We were up here in April, and
last year. Oh yeah,
there was 40,000 outside the stadium. Correct. 3 hours before kickoff in anticipation of them winning the title against Spurs that day, and you come here today, and it was subdued. It has been a little bit flat. Yeah. And even in those last moments there, you know, they're nervous about how they are defensively. That's no 2 ways about it. Yeah. They're not convinced about this side, you know, in terms of keeping clean sheets. So look, Spurs have still got a lot of work to do, and you still say Liverpool are big favourites to win this one. But it's been okay, I have to say. You know, they've dropped deep into that low block, and they've showed a diligence to it. But it's going to be few and far between these opportunities they get, and they've got to nail one of them. Clearly.
Absolutely. Well, give you a break, Steve, so you can go and sort out the TV. I don't know. I mean, I think they'll go for the mystery house personally, while we concentrate on what happened earlier today. First commentary game of the afternoon came from Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace and Leeds played out a goalless draw. Leeds went down to 10 just before half-time. They also missed a penalty in that first period as well. But Palace couldn't make most of the advantage in that second half. Manager Ollie Glasner told Match of the Day he knows his team could have done more.
Yes, we could have done better, but we know that sometimes it makes it more difficult when you play such a compact block, such a physical block, and we know that then it starts, and it was the same today, and in a few other games where we were in a similar situation, and for me it feels we're getting a little bit nervous, we need to score, and then just taking wrong decisions in a rush, and then not really clinically enough in the final third, but at the end it's a point, it's another clean sheet, and we have to accept. We know, I think this is also a progress. We have to go, that we, in these situations, to stay calm, stay in our structure, because I feel we are losing our structure then. We are moving the ball too slow. We don't create overloads in the right areas, and that's all a kind of experience, of progress, and this is what we have to do better.
What can you do to change that? Is it mixing up the players, or is it a tactical thing when you talk about sort of maybe being a bit too slow at times?
Oh, it's more maybe a few more topics. It's not just one, I think we won many games with a deep block, and I remember we won against Brighton with 2 red cards. So it's not so easy, and especially when you're so well organized and so physical like Leeds, because then they defended the block. They have 3 centre backs with 190, and this is what they're doing well. But therefore, we have then, you need sometimes player who win a 1v1 situation, and to be honest, we don't have plenty of them, who are the biggest strength is a 1v1, you need to overload to make then the runs. We did it 2-3 times, but then the last ball they blocked it. We got a few set plays, so once we were quite close, and this is what we want to do better, and also to shift the ball quicker, especially in the back, and stay calm.
No shots on target for Crystal Palace, none for the London side competing on the backs of the Trent today. Goalless draw, Nottingham Forest against Fulham. Forest thought they'd taken the lead 63 minutes in, but that was ruled out for offside. The Cottages boss, Marco Silva, thought it had been a good battle between 2 strong sides.
Good fight, big fight there. As you know, all the games from 2-3 games ago until the end of the season, they are going to be big fights. The points are very expensive, I can say in that way. All the teams, they are fighting for something very, very important, like we are fighting for something important. The opposition, Nottingham, they are fighting too, and it's always a big fight there. And it was a difficult game as we expected. Even if they are not in the position, the top individual quality they have up front, players like Gibbs, the white players, the capacity they have to at half time to put another 2 wingers completely fresh and all that stuff. The quality of Anderson, that is my opinion, is being one of the best players of the season, in my opinion, in Premier League. What a quality that he has, and you knew it. We were, I think, solid enough in most of the times. First half was very balanced. Not the teams didn't get the momentum in the game, the tempo in the game. We arrived in danger areas with the ball, but after that, the decisions, they were not at level to create chances. The first half, the biggest chance was from Calvin in the 6-yard box from a set pieces. What a chance from us! It was the biggest chance of first half. Second half, Nottingham had more chances than us. We had one big one with Rodrigo, who the ball is going inside, and Sangare or Rainer, they got it with the clearance with the head. But overall, the game was difficult. Conditions second half, they were more difficult for both sides. Very windy. Probably was not the most nice game to watch in some moments. Definitely was everything very tight. But as you said, is a point on the road. Is a clean sheet. Is one of the positives from the game too. Will come a big game for us because it's before the international break. We have to be back on track at home, back in the winning ways, because we need to go for the international break with more 3 points.
And after 2 defeats, one in the FA Cup, one in the Premier League, how important was it at least not to lose today?
You see positives there in the game, definitely. We see some positives there in the game in that aspect, to keep the clean sheet, to be back in a positive result, even if it was not in a winning ways, and it's part of the churn and the Premier League season. And sometimes you have this type of games that they are very difficult, the quality of the opposition size, the individual quality they have, and you have to be ready for it.
And it gives you a platform to build on for the rest of the season now.
Yes, gives us another chance to have a home game next week and to be back in a place that we have been very strong, and the last 2 results they weren't the best for us, and we have to go back in a winning ways at Cottage again next week in a big game for us before the international break.
Let's have a look at the league table at the bottom. Wolverhampton Wanderers 16 points bottom, Burnley 20 points just above them. Then it's West Ham United on 29, Nottingham Forest on 29. As it stands, Tottenham Hotspur on 29, Leeds United 32 and Crystal Palace 39. You have to believe that 39 is enough at this stage of the season. 8 games to go for all those teams. Spurs, a better goal difference than Forest, who've got a better goal difference than West Ham United. Spurs Forest next Sunday at 2:15 for Nottingham Forest against Tottenham Hotspur, which is a big game, as is this one, trailing by a goal to nil at the moment. Elsewhere today in the WSL women's football, there is a full set of fixtures across the two. Chelsea have congratulations, won the Women's League Cup final, 2-0 the final score against Manchester United. Lauren James and Aggie Beaver-Jones with the goals for Chelsea in that game. I think played down at Bristol, wasn't it? The WSL today, Aston Villa 0, Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2, Leicester City 0, Arsenal 2-0 winners at London City Lionesses, and Tottenham Hotspur 1, Everton 2. It means that Man City are top on 43 points, Manchester United on 34, Chelsea have got 33, Arsenal have got a game in hand on Chelsea and Manchester United, 2 games in hand on Man City on 32 points, Spurs on 29, they've played 2 games more than Arsenal and a game more than Chelsea. Bottom of the table, Leicester City on 9 points, West Ham United on 11, Liverpool on 13. Thunderstruck being played around Anfield at this moment in time, as we have a very quick look at what happened yesterday on BBC Radio London as well. We heard how the Premier League teams got on last night. Arsenal winning 2-0 at home to Everton. Of course, West Ham United, a 1-1 draw with Manchester City. They moved out of the bottom 3 as a consequence of that. Let's have a quick look at the Championship as well yesterday. Charlton drawing 1-1 with Oxford United. Game that Steve was at the attic salvaging a point thanks to a late penalty. And Nathan Jones was thrilled his side got something out of the game, which they had 7 points from the whole of last week.
I mean, it's been an outstanding week. I mean, 7 points from the week has been truly, truly outstanding. Today's performance was everything I didn't want, because we said they sit in, they don't press you, they sit in, and then they've done West Brom and Blackburn here because it's obligatory apparently in the Championship that you have to be a nice passive footballing team. So I didn't want us to do that, and for about 70 odd minutes we were a passive typical bang average Championship team. Then as soon as we started playing with any tempo and putting it on them and turning them and stretching them and going up against them, then we could have scored 2 or 3 and we finally got the thing. So I'm pleased we got the point, but they have to listen. They have to listen to what we say, the game plan. And if they do that, we win the game today.
Why do you think it was so at the start? Then?
Because they want to do their own thing. They want to do their own thing. And look, I'm angry now because that should be us done now. That should be us done. 50 points, bang, done. But let's give them. No, they credit. Matt's done a brilliant job here. There's 10 points they've had in the last 4 games. But they do what they do. They sit off you. They allow you to play and then they hit you on the counter or rely on a really poor refereeing decision, which they got today. And that's what they do, and we played into that.
Total Sport live.
BBC Radio London.
Yeah, Total Sport live on a Sunday afternoon. I hope you have treated your mother or grandmother. I hope it was breakfast in bed or some flowers or a card or what it might. cake. I sent mine, Steve. Bit of cake from a very good firm that sends cake.
Yeah, I sent my mum a card.
Excellent.
Yeah, told her I was at Liverpool, so not you won't see me. Here's a card.
No, fair enough.
Have a great day.
Spurs are coming out. The fitness instructor has put some cones out for the players to do a little bit of warming up. Liverpool emerged from the tunnel below us. Just heard from Nathan Jones. You were at that game yesterday at Oxford. Edging their way, I'd say, to safety now, Charles, which was the first priority this season.
Yeah, and they are safe, and they have been, I think, since the win Wednesday up at Middlesbrough, which was very much against the run of play, saw us safe, I think. And now it's a case of, does Nathan Jones go back to the training ground, reset the goals and have a mini goal from now to the end of the season? Let's see how far we can climb up this table. Yesterday won't live long in the memory, that's for sure. I'm not like Nathan's done a good job keeping us in the Championship, but I'm not sure where he thought we could score 2 or 3 goals yesterday. The penalty was the first shot on target in the 92nd minute, and actually I thought Oxford had the better of the second half. Certainly for the first half hour of that second half they were on top. So it's job done, and the club has to grow again over the summer.
Here we go. Spurs kicking off from left to right, attacking the Kop in this second half. No changes made by either team. Liverpool leading by a goal to 0. Tottenham Hotspur had some chances though in that first half, as Liverpool again trying to scrape it away through Joe Gomez, and it gives possession back to Tottenham. Go through the lineups in a moment or two. I'll ask you a question about the lineups as well, Steve, which is pertinent in regards to the bench that Spurs have here this afternoon. Alisson in goal for Liverpool. So Bosley started at right back. Gomez, Van Dijk at Robertson. Midfield, Frimpong off the right. McAllister, Wirtz, and Ngumoa across midfield with Gravenbach, and then Cody Gakpo as the front striker. He's a bit too weak there. Gets beaten to the ball by Dragusin, and it will be Spurs who can work it away. Spurs have Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro, Dragusin, Danso and Spence, the back three. Sousa is playing as a right-sided midfield. Archie Gray, Papa Martesar, Mateus Selwich, Richarlison and Dominic Solanke up front. On the bench for Spurs, let's go through the Spurs bench. Really, 2 goalkeepers, Antonin Kinski and Brandon Austin, Xavi Simons, Randall Kolo Moani, Callum Olasesi, James Raswell and James Wilson. The point I was going to make, Spurs having to do a lot of work off the ball. There's not a lot of experience to pull off the bench.
No, I think unless there's an injury, they won't.
Gakpo has got away from Danso. It was being balked and bustled a little bit too much, so says Chris Kavanagh, the referee. But does that then mean fatigue, mental as well as physical, kicks in? Yeah, because you know what, modern day game means you're making 5 substitutions almost every game, aren't you, in this day and age? So it's not the game it used to be in terms of players. Ungamoa's got away from Pedro Porro, drags back on him, Ungamoa, and then is he floored inside the penalty area. Richarlison wants a booking for simulation, and the Liverpool fans...
Well, I don't think it's a dive as such, so I don't think you can give him a booking for simulation. No. I just think it's a very good decision from the referee. He scrambled to the ground because he lost his footing, I would say.
Well, he's dragged back initially, though, outside the penalty area by Pedro Porro.
But I don't think he's... Is he trying to be deceptive?
Well, there is contact. There is contact from Sousa on the hip.
Yellow card on the sidelines as well.
I think that's to it's to Igor Tudor, I think.
I believe so.
For appealing for more. There's definitely contact on the hip of Ungamoa.
Well, but not enough.
Not enough.
Yeah, because but what I'm saying, VAR would have intervened. They haven't. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it can just be a good decision from the referee, and we play on. It doesn't, just because he's gone to ground and there's no penalty, it doesn't have to be simulation.
No. As Liverpool win another header, down it comes, Danso. There was the interesting decision, because Porro had a haul back on Ungamoa outside the penalty area, because Kavanagh decided obviously to play advantage. Liverpool win it in midfield. They have it down the right hand side, but only temporarily. Their bench, and this is the point I wanted to make, and they've won it, Liverpool, but they can't retain it through Wirtz, and that's going to take a deflection off Florian Wirtz for a throw into Spurs on the left hand side. But if Spurs are tiring, Liverpool have Ekitike, Curtis Jones, Chiesa, Salah, all on the bench, and that's the worry, isn't it?
Yeah, strength in depth, and Spurs don't have it.
Because of the injuries.
Yeah, and it's a consequence of of how the season's gone, and they've been without quite a few of those players for quite a time. But
Van Dijk nudges the header out of play. Spurs break down the right-hand side. Here is Matthias Tell, who's switched to the right, prodded again out of play by Van Dijk for a throw-in. Sousa will possibly take it. No, they won't. It will be Kevin Danso, who's the long throw specialist, jogging forward for Tottenham Hotspur, up from the back to take it. The 27-year-old, born in Wurzburg. 42nd appearance for Tottenham Hotspur. Liverpool leading by a goal to 0. 4 played in this second half. Total Sport Live, BBC Radio London. Tomorrow night, by the way, Brentford against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Rob Green's Monday night show coming live from the G-Tech Community Stadium, Steve.
Nice.
Wednesday night, Spurs in Europe against Atletico Madrid, as the throw-in is headed away by Van Dijk. Porro has it, right-footed, swings it towards Richarlison. It's over his head. There's an offside decision anyway, so it will be Liverpool possession inside their 18-yard box. The boss line on 18 minutes, the only goal of the game between these two teams at the moment. And in all 3 games involving London sides in the men's Premier League, it's the only goal of the afternoon, Steve. 0-0 Fulham at Nottingham Forest, 0-0 Crystal Palace at home to Leeds United, and it wasn't going to be any more than 0 for the 2 London sides because neither got a shot on target. Now it's wriggled down the right-hand side, and here comes Frimpong. Gakpo inside the penalty area, calls for it. It's Ungamara inside into his path. Right-footed shot, curls it wide.
Yeah, and I think he's gone for a touch too much power. Concentrate on the accuracy. That left-hand side of the goal was wide open as soon as Ungamara gets onto that right foot. It's just a case of accuracy, and he's put a little bit too much pace on that, lost accuracy, and it's gone high and wide. But again, I have to question why Spence went to the ball. I don't know why he went to the ball. It was being covered off, the pressure was being applied by a teammate. Just back off into a defensive position.
Liverpool have won it again in midfield. Here is Ungamara, manages to scramble it back to Joe Gomez, who clips it out wide towards this left-hand side. Former Charlton player Joe Gomez, born in Catford. The 28-year-old moved to Liverpool 11 years ago almost now, Joe Gomez, Steve, from Charlton.
Well, there was a point when it was rumoured to be going to Villa, I believe, for a lot of money, and we would have got a decent sell on and we could have done but that didn't transpire, so he's had a fantastic career here.
He certainly has. Here's Wirtz, picks up the ball on the halfway line and he strays into Spurs territory. He's got options left and right. Ungamara to his left, just outside the penalty area. Little step over the ball, gets to the byline, drives it across the face of goal, headed away by Danso. Richarlison caught in possession, picked up by Frimpong. Richarlison's gone to ground, gets himself back up to his feet.
Now he wants a foul. He's got to stop round with the referee. Get on with it. It's not been given.
Wirtz. Ungamara again, who rolls it back in field, this time to Florian Wirtz, and it's slowed down, stops. 52 minutes because Spurs have got back into there. Well, Ungamara's got space to crack in a shot, and Vicario makes a save low to his left.
Yeah, I said to you off air at half time, at times it's reminiscent of a half pitch game where you're playing against a low block and you're designing your training to unlock a low block, but they're not moving Spurs around enough when they're in that set position.
Frimpong again galloping down the right hand side, puts it out of play. No clean sheets in 4 for Liverpool. Last time they kept one was a 1-0 win against Nottingham Forest. Alexis McAllister scoring the goal, but they have beaten West Ham 5-2, they lost at Wolves 2-1, then beat Wolves 3-1, and then didn't score midweek, and now they've got a chance though. Wirtz edge of the penalty area, onto his left boot, pushes it too far wide of Ungamara, groans around Anfield again. Here is Wirtz inside the penalty area, miscontrols it. And Liverpool have possession, Spurs are back in defensive numbers. It's Wirtz, tries to play a little reverse pass, met by Archie Gray, and out of play from McAllister's block for a goal kick.
Yeah, I can see him making way at some point.
What, Wirtz?
Yeah. Just frustrating.
He's not on it.
The home crowd, and he's trying. He's got to. Why don't you take the opportunity to shoot there? Centre of the goal, 18 yards out, and you've moved it into a position where you're less. The percentages drop from where you would now be taking the shot, which I find curious.
12 points in the last 15 available, picked up by Liverpool, but they're having to do some defending on the edge of their own 18-yard box. Alisson has to scramble out to hack this clear. It ricocheted through almost to the run of Dominic Solanke, but he couldn't quite get on the end of it, and it will be a throw-in on the right-hand side to Tottenham Hotspur, which Porro will take. The Spaniard had the ball over his head. We know he can crack him from distance when he gets within range, Pedro Porro. Maybe not the most prolific, but he certainly has got a goal-scoring opportunity, and it's going to be Spurs who are going to make the first change on the sidelines, and it's going to be Xavi Simons who's coming on. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see who he replaces. Goes all the way back to Kevin Danso inside the Spurs half. Well, he's got to do something because they're losing this game. So even though maybe it's only 1-0, they break forward with Richarlison, edge of the penalty area. Is he being dragged back? Alisson makes the save.
I think he's got a case, Richarlison. I think he is being dragged back, and he gets the shot away under heavy pressure, and it's a good save from Alisson, but that's going to need looking at, I think.
Well, Joe Gomez is the man that's being questioned about this. The corner kick is being awarded. Well, Alisson making the save. Let's have a look. Joe Gomez with him. He's got the arm around the shoulder.
Is it not Van Dijk?
Sorry, Van Dijk.
Yeah.
He's got the arm around the shoulder, or is it on the... No. They're not going to look at it.
No, they're not. They've walked away, and they're going to continue. But Richarlison, he's causing a few issues. I have to say,
yeah.
He's had some wonderful opportunities. He's had a couple of great headers. He's got that shot away under enormous pressure. But again, it shows the vulnerability of Liverpool defensively. I did think it was going to be Sousa, I have to say.
So it's Sousa who is going to replace Xavi Simons. Be replaced by Xavi Simons, should I say? So. I mean, I think maybe Sousa was involved. He is a player who can play in a fullback position, and he was playing wide right. Steve.
Yeah.
But I think maybe his defensive qualities are what were required, and now Spurs again they muster beyond the far post for this corner kick. This is the routine they've worked. Over on that left-hand side, here comes the corner, Cop end. Liverpool heads get it away, this time with Gomez. Then a shot is flung back in. Richarlison actually made the block, and Alisson watches. Well, I thought he was going to watch a header go wide, but he gathers the ball and bowls it out quickly to Szoboszlai, and Spurs have left themselves a little exposed. Frimpong calls for it, rolls it towards Ngamoa down the left-hand side. Porro up against him, Ngamoa inside the penalty area, into the 6-yard box. It's been clattered clear, though, over to this near touchline by Radu Dragusin.
And they're going to search for the equaliser, Spurs, and they're going to get caught gambling too many players forward, and they're going to get caught on the counter from time to time. That's a given from now to the end.
Well, you could see, I thought he was going to watch it wide, Alisson. Then that's clever because he thought, hang on, I can spring us forward quickly here, which he did. So Szoboszlai, long way out, hits in a shot, blocked up in the air by Dominic Solanke. It's allowed to bounce by Gravenbach. He loses the ball, wins it back with a degree of fortune, takes it away from one challenge, pokes it out wide to Frimpong, and then that's a good tackle by Jed Spence. And Liverpool have a corner.
Yeah. But they do that part particularly well, winning balls back when it's played out from defence from Spurs. And Gravenbach's instrumental in that. That was actually a really good recovery from Spence. I thought it was done off the shoulder. Frimpong's got a little bit of pace. That's an excellent recovery from the fullback.
Florian Wirtz is going to take the corner kick, the 22-year-old. And Dominic Solanke, useful from a defensive point of view. Had a couple of years here at Liverpool, didn't really work through in 1 goal in 27 appearances. And it's a corner kick for Liverpool, who are attacking the Anfield Road end away to our left-hand side in this second half, where Spurs occupy half of the bottom tier. Here is Frimpong to Wirtz, who took that corner. Back it comes to Szoboszlai. It's delivered in towards the Liverpool penalty area, and that's a handball from Xavi Simons, I think. And Szoboszlai gets a chance to take a free kick. 58 minutes played, Liverpool leading by 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, you were on about substitutions. That was the obvious one for Spurs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now it becomes
Kolo Muani, maybe.
Yeah.
But Richarlison and Solanke have done all right. So, I mean, that's...
Richarlison in particular. Solanke's drifted in and out of the game, and he's done a lot of work defensively, but Richarlison's offered a threat, hasn't he, in the opposition box?
So Szoboszlai will deliver this free kick, curls it, 6-yard box, heads go up, scrambled away by Tottenham Hotspur. And then that ricochets up in the air from Spence's initial clearance. It's going to be a throw-in the right back berth for Tottenham Hotspur, and Liverpool maybe thinking about a change. On a slot, applauds, claps his hands. A couple of the substitutes who've done some warming up go back and sit down. Are they preparing to come on? Not by the looks of it, Steve.
No.
Not at this moment in time. 1-0 they lead.
We're only 58 in, so it's like...
Igor Tudor is back into his coaching box, arms folded. Words he had ahead of this game about just standing up and being counted at this point. His future's not important. He's just worrying about coaching. He doesn't pay attention to any of the speculation. Cleared away by Tottenham onto the halfway line. Szoboszlai, ponytailed, brings it under control. Looks up, looks back, prods it to Gomez. Gomez is going to have to force it to his goalkeeper, Alisson. Back to Gomez. Van Dijk puts his head in his hands because he was in a good position. And then Spurs have turned over possession. Xavi Simons, though, has given it away. Here's Gravenberch. Oh, dear, oh dear.
Yes, it's very untidy at the moment.
Yeah, it's very untidy. I mean, Alisson then just jiggles it away from Richarlison's pressure. Robertson, Liverpool trying to open things up. Tell makes the block on Robinson's forward prod. And now it's McAllister. And the home fans want Liverpool to go forward. They keep on turning back, is what they say. Here now is Wirtz down the left-hand side. Ngomoa is again wide on that flank. Steps in field away from Porro. Tries to use a bit of trickery to get clear. Oh, he prods it forward to Wirtz. Clever. Wirtz towards the far post. Scraped away by Svens towards the far touchline, and a Liverpool throw.
Yeah, and there was a clear cut back to Gakpo from Wirtz, and he went across the 6-yard line. And if he had just popped it back 5 yards, Gakpo would have been there.
Here's Szoboszlai, scorer of the only goal of the game so far. Hour reached, 1-0 Liverpool lead. Two of their substitutes still warming up quite aggressively on the sidelines. And Ngomoa this time up against Tell. Tries to take him wide, cuts in field, loses the ball. Robertson wins it back, or bringing the control, should we say. Didn't have to win it. And Liverpool are still 1-0 up, and the atmosphere just drops again.
Yeah, because once Spurs are in that defensive shape, it's walking pace.
Yeah.
And I don't think Liverpool are moving the ball quick enough. They're not support like you could get balls into Gakpo, but you've got to have movement off of that. You've got to have an option back into feet, but it's too easy for Spurs to defend.
Yeah, they're not being pulled out of shape at all, aren't they?
Not at all. No, the ball is just too pedestrian.
Frimpong is wide on the right hand side. It's curled out to him by Joe Gomez, closed down by Jed Spence. He's got an option in field if he wants him for Szoboszlai. Here comes the cross from him, looking for Gakpo. Headed away though by Tottenham Hotspur again. Szoboszlai will come and gather. And I thought for a moment he was going all the way back to his goalkeeper, but he finds Gomez inside the centre circle. Virgil van Dijk, the 34-year-old now, Dutch defender, former East team player, the likes of Willem II and Groningen. Played at Celtic and Southampton. Won the title, of course, in Scotland, as did Spurs' previous manager +1, Ange Postecoglou. As here is Ngomoa. Steps on the ball, dispossessed. Matthias Tell's got space to run, and Spurs are breaking forward, and here comes Tell. Checks it away from McAllister in midfield, swirls it towards the left, looking for Xavi Simons, picked up by Pape Matar. Simons again, it's pushed a bit too far wide of him, but he wriggles it forward towards Spence on the left-hand side of that penalty area. Jed Spence, back it comes to Simons again on the point of the 18-yard box, and he loses possession, and Liverpool can spring forward. Can they? Now they will, but Robertson's maybe not the fastest of players to try and get it to, and Danso's won it back. Bit of frustration because the red shirts are peeling forward, and here's Tell down the right hand side again. Bit of space, gets beyond McAllister, dinks it across. Alisson goes. Is he beaten in the air by Solanke's gone out of play for a goal kick anyway, and the referee has stopped for a foul by Dominic Solanke on Alisson.
And it was.
Yeah.
But it's scruffy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it really is. And Liverpool, I can understand now why
they're getting frustrated here, yeah.
Yeah, said what he said to you before the kick-off, because they're not fluent at all, Liverpool. Well, they're a bit predictable when they get into that final third easy enough, but then what happens in the final, unless they get it to the two wide players to create a little bit 1v1, they just don't seem to have the inventiveness and sharpness to go in, back through or down sides, and they haven't got an individual centrally that can do anything like their wide players can do, which is beat players in an instant in tight 1v1 situations. Triple sub, is it?
So yeah, he's had enough. He's making changes. Ekitike coming on for Frimpong. We've got Salah on and we've got Jones on. And Florian Wirtz went off as well. So changes for Liverpool here, and a slight change of formation, I think, as well, from Liverpool's point of view. So on come Jones, Ekitike and Salah. Ekitike goes central, Salah goes to the right, Gakpo goes to the left. Szoboszlai stays at right back. Just a bit of a reorganisation going on, and now they're looking long for Salah straight away. And Ekitike is going to put Dragusin under pressure, met by McAllister in midfield. A bit of energy maybe for the substitutions that have been made by Arne Slot, but it's Spurs who have it on the left-hand side with Spence. Xavi Simons ahead of it. The big money signing in the summer from Amsterdam, and a bit like Florian Wirtz, really. A lot's been a comparison with the two. They're both 22-year-olds, both came in from German football, both arrived for decent money. Both have struggled in their first season in the Premier League. Frimpong getting applause from the Kop away to our right-hand side as Liverpool have it in midfield. Gravenbach has dived away from a couple of challenges. Salah's beaten to the ball, tries to come back to win it. Spurs loses that to Curtis Jones, all a bit congested. Whoa, Joe Gomez's first touch almost pushes them into traffic, and that's been prodded out of play by Simons for a Liverpool throw on the right-hand side. 1-0 Liverpool lead, 25 to go, Steve Brown. Temperature dipping.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it doesn't dip too much on the pitch, because I think they absolutely needed those changes, Liverpool. It might ask a few questions of Spurs, who have been actually, if truth be told, better in the final third than Liverpool have in this second half. They've created one or two.
Salah tries to get in behind Spence, who ducked away from the ball. He rolls it back to Spence, to his goalkeeper Vicario, right-footed, cleared away. Sorry, Steve.
No, just saying that they have been better in the, in terms of what Richarlison's created.
Yeah.
Liverpool have really struggled. They've had one shot wide. That's about it. Yeah. There's been a lot of play, a lot of slow play in the final third, but they've not really caused too many troubles. Spurs have caused more trouble.
Spence curls in across far post, Tells there, headed away by Robertson, guided further clear up in the air by Cody Gakpo, and then Liverpool, though, have ceded possession to Tottenham Hotspur. Porro trying to keep it in, he does do so. Tell beaten to it, and then Ekitike sweeps it away from Danso and wins the ball back, does he know, from Pape Matar. Sarr's done well, finds Simons, long range from Simons. Sarr back to goal, 25 yards out from the Liverpool goal mouth. Here's Pedro Porro, will he deliver a first time cross? Not first time, second time. Richarlison gets his head on the ball, and that's going to bobble out of play for a Liverpool throw on the far touchline.
It's a poor cross from Porro, isn't it?
It is.
He's in a great position, he's not under any pressure, and you'd expect him to get that into the slot required, or the channel required, which is just along the 6-yard line, and hoping that they can get somebody to attack. But that was just over here. Richarlison backpedaling, could only flick it on and out of play. But they're still in this game.
Yeah, 1-0.
Liverpool just are not the side, or certainly haven't been today, that they have been for a few seasons. They're not as sharp. And
and then it's a miss by Porro, and here comes Gakpo, and then he clips Danso. The Liverpool fans felt that there was just a coming together rather than a clip, but the referee's given the free kick to Spurs because it gave such a big advantage, because Danso was there ahead of Gakpo, and it's a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur. 1-0 Liverpool lead, halfway through the second half here on Total Sport Live on a Sunday afternoon. Downward header from to Richarlison for Van Dijk, and then his shot is straight at Alisson, but it's another shot on goal. It's another shot on target from Richarlison in this game. Salah picks up the ball, halfway line, spins away from Spence. Now Liverpool breaking. Ekitike inside the penalty area, stumbles, bumbles onto his left boot, and then he curls a shot over the top of the bar.
Yeah. So I like the speed in which he got into position in terms of then manoeuvre the ball from right to left, but you've got to remain composed at that point. And he just rushed the shot, and technically it was horrible. It was. I mean, it's about as bad as it can be technically.
Is that what it says in the coaching manual?
No, I mean, you've just got to use the instep and compose yourself, and just lost all balance. He was off balance. He lost balance. He rushed it, and consequently you hit the wrong part of the ball with the wrong part of the foot. It's about as bad as it can be technically.
Yeah. 16 goals, 29 starts. 11 sub-appearances. Another chance to break forward though. Ekitike, edge of the penalty area. Spurs getting back in numbers. He slides it towards Salah. Salah, left-footed, takes a deflection. Vicario is going to come and try and prevent the corner kick. Well, I think he might have rolled over the whitewash with that, Vicario. Next year, VAR is going to look at corners that haven't been awarded. He might have got away with that one right in front of the Spurs fans. Let's have a look at it, Steve. Or has he done really, really well? Oh, I think he did brilliantly. I think that not all the ball across the white line. The line-out didn't have a chance, but here is Gakpo. Suddenly, though, Salah and Ekitike have given energy to this Liverpool side.
Yeah, they're suddenly going in behind the back line. There's a bit of pace. It's scaring that Spurs defence. It's driving them back towards goal, and it coincides with Spurs pushing on a little bit as well, Phil. What's the point in sitting back at this point? You might as well try and go and get the equaliser. They have threatened. Richarlison's had 3 attempts in this second half. He's called Alisson into action twice. So at least they're making an attempt to get on the front foot and try and find an equaliser, but unfortunately that does leave them a little bit more open to that pace from Ekitike and Salah.
Here's Virgil van Dijk. Liverpool going 4th with this result as it stands, after Aston Villa were beaten by Manchester United, who are 3rd in the table. Curtis Jones on the right hand side, forced backwards though by Pape Matar Sarr. Liverpool have it with their goalkeeper Alisson. He's going to have to clear it ahead of Dominic Solanke, straight to Matthias Tell, who brings the ball under control, closed down by Gakpo. Good physicality to win it, then he holds off another challenge. He's got Ekitike and Salah, spins it towards Salah. Ekitike inside the penalty area, can't get a first time shot, but manages to retain possession. He's got Robertson behind him on the left hand side. Here's Andy Robertson, back in field towards Gakpo, cut out by Pape Matar Sarr, who does really well to run it out of the Spurs penalty area, and then he runs into Gravenbach, and Spurs have it with Solanke on the left hand side. Oh, he's lost the ball. One back by Liverpool. Here's Szoboszlai. Liverpool leading by a goal to nil. Not gambling many players forward though, and Pape Matar Sarr wins a free kick.
A little scrubby, and look, fans are quite away from us. They're a good 6 foot behind, and they're getting very frustrated.
They are getting frustrated.
Yeah, but that Robertson cutback wasn't just telegraphed; it was sent by carrier pigeon. I mean, it was that obvious.
It was,
and it was intercepted rather comfortably. But I can absolutely understand why this home crowd gets frustrated. But what they've got at the moment now is a bit of pace and a bit of ingenuity in that front line. Gakpo works his socks off. Ekitike, is starting to stretch the back line. And Spurs are leaving 3 or 4 players ahead of the ball now constantly. They're not dropping back into that low block. They've decided it's the last 15-20 minutes they've got to try and find
McAllister nudges it beyond Pedro Porro, gets back though, does the Spaniard, to roll it towards the Italian Vicario, digs out a clearance. Spurs are going to make another change. Here's Solanke on the halfway line, tickles it back to Xavi Simons. Spurs coming forward in numbers now. Simons drifts it towards Matthias Tell. His cross is headed away by Van Dijk towards McAllister. Forward ball from him is poor. Robertson downward header. Gakpo get forward. Salah on the right is the intended target. Sprays it with the outside of the boot. Danso got the header there. Salah's in behind him. Mo Salah puts it wide. Let off for Tottenham because he was in behind as the ball bounced beyond Ragusan and Vicario couldn't get there. Spurs are still in this game and they're going to make another change, and it'll be Randall Kolo-Muani coming on soon.
Yeah, and I tell you what, these changes and how the game has suddenly changed optically are why this crowd's frustrated.
Yeah.
If you're leaving players out and performing the way they did in the first 65, and in these,
correct. Yeah. You're asking why.
You are asking for trouble. Yeah.
Spurs are going to make a double change on the sidelines, and the home fans are saying this is taking way too long. But Simons, they're not going to make the change, Spurs. Xavi Simons has taken it clear in midfield, then he runs into a bit of traffic, bobbles through towards Jed Spence. Spurs with it inside the Liverpool penalty area, shot straight at Alisson. But another shot on target from Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, and actually Spence will be a little bit annoyed with himself that he hasn't put that. Oh, look at this.
Gakpo, acres of space, can't control it. I mean, he drifted forward between everyone, defending from Spurs' point of view, and he can't control it. He was in on goal if he could, and again they are getting frustrated. 5 shots on target from Spurs in this game to Liverpool's 3, as McAllister beaten to the ball, dawdled on the ball. Home fans getting more and more frustrated. Spurs have done their job. Robertson will make the block. Richarlison, though, manages to muscle it away from him. Here's Richarlison's cross. It's a poor one, and Szoboszlai is going to be able to hook it clear. Salah flicks around the corner, straight at Dragusan. Dragusan gallops forward, prods it infield. Left maybe for Matthias Tell, trying to pick his spot. Poor from him, hacked away by Robertson. And now it's Salah battling with Archie Gray, and he hurdles away from Gray. No foul tackle. Ekitike's inside the... That's dreadful. Mo Salah... That's terrible, says a fan behind me. That sums it up perfectly. It was a very, very weak pass, and Ekitike was never going to get on the end of it. At the other end, it's Tell. Can he create a shot from here? It's blocked away by Liverpool, and then Cody Gakpo is fouled by Matthias Tell.
So
best league in the world, Steve, this, isn't it?
Well, listen, I wish the game would look like this from the first minute.
True.
Right, but the point being, Salah, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful, 3 years ago, runs that ball.
Yeah.
Doesn't pass it.
Yeah.
He runs it.
He's not the player.
No, and although he got the pass wrong, and it probably was the right thing, he was 1v1 on that right-hand side. He got away from Gray. He should have driven it down, but he just didn't have the confidence. I don't know if he's lacking a bit of confidence, or his pace has dropped off a little bit, but there was no reason for him to pass that.
Olasesi comes on for Spence, and Kolo Muani is on for Matthias Tell. 19-year-old Callum Olasesi, the Lambeth-born player, has come through the ranks, England under-19 international, and Kolo Muani, who is also now coming off the bench. And I mean, he's using the players really that he's got at his disposal with some experience. We're looking at kids after that, or goalkeepers, but the 27-year-old French international, and
Muani offers power and pace.
He does
quality in the final moments.
But they're going for it. I mean, you can't, it's only 1-0. They're going for it, Spurs, by bringing on the likes of Simmons. They've taken off Spence to be replaced by Olasesi, but Moani is now going to be playing and trying to create alongside Richarlison and Solanke. Liverpool playing it along their back line, and as long as it's 1-0, the home fans will get more and more nervous, and Spurs will believe they can get something out of this game, which no one gave them any hope of being able to do so. Szoboszlai's turned away from traffic though, and he gallops forward and he pings it towards Cody Gakpo, edge of the penalty area, steps on it right-footed, finds Salah, and he digs a left-footed shot over the top of the bar.
Yeah, and more groans and frustrations.
Yeah, 9 goals this season for Mo Salah.
Yeah, and he's probably extremely frustrated having to watch that first 65, 70 minutes, and he's come on and he's done 1 or 2 great things. He's got that shot away, but he's passed the ball that he should have at least hit the intended target, and that last shot, I'm not sure that was a first-time shot. I think it was a touch and draw a defender too. If they don't come, then you get a comfortable shot with the ball at your feet.
Richarlison, and with a foul.
Game's become extremely open, which has made it a much better game to watch for us.
It's a yes, absolutely, Steve. Goodness gracious, we've not mentioned the fact that they didn't go for the mystery house in Move to the Country, or whatever it's called, Escape to the Country, because the game has been more engaging, as Gakpo's broken in off the right-hand side, tries to get away from Kolo Muani, still has the ball at his feet, sweeps it towards the right. Salah with a first-time cross. Here's Robertson, downward header. Spurs are able to swat it away towards the halfway line, and then Van Dijk wins the header. Liverpool trying to get a little bit of juice to their forward momentum. Curtis Jones in towards Van Dijk. The 34-year-old sweeps it towards Szoboszlai. Here's Salah on the right-hand side, up against Archie Gray, who's now playing as left-back. Still with it, Mo Salah. Onto that left foot, disguised pass. Gakpo, Ekitike, can't get the shot away. Gakpo left-footed, took a deflection into the arms of Vicario.
Yeah. They do look a little bit more potent, don't they, now, in that final third. It's not so pedestrian.
No.
There's a little bit of pace, there's a little bit more movement.
Spurs, though, can break over the halfway line. Pedro Porro with it, and he's been allowed to run 50, 60 yards. Richarlison almost stumbles, manages to somehow wriggle it through towards Archie Gray, delivers a cross. Richarlison can't quite stretch and get his head on it. Out of play it goes for a goal kick.
Yeah, I just wonder if that had been offside, but again, no pressure applied down this right-hand side to Porro, no pressure applied down the left-hand side to Gray, and that ball was inches away from Richarlison getting a touch on it, but I just wonder if he'd strayed offside anyway.
Yeah, maybe Steve. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm not sure. I think was it Robertson maybe, or Van Dijk? Van Dijk may have just been playing him on. Robertson may have been playing him on, actually, by the looks of it.
Then it's just a case of that cross was inches too far. But again, Liverpool recovering without applying any pressure on the player in possession, which is a little... Well, it's great for Spurs to see.
Igor Tudor bounced up and down with frustration on the sidelines. Ekitike is up against Danso. He's being held by Kevin Danso. Chris Kavanagh, the referee, gives the free kick to Liverpool inside the Spurs half of the pitch. 11 to go plus added time, Steve Brown. Starting to darken here on the banks of the Mersey.
Temperature's dropping away rapidly.
It certainly is. There used to be two men's teams who played, of course, either side of Stanley Park. Now it's Everton women who play at Goodison Park, and the men's team have moved to the docks, but Liverpool men still play in what was Everton's original home ground, Anfield, as it's chipped forward by Robertson. Ekitike again didn't quite read that, the pair of them, and Robertson's now left out of position, so McAllister has to drop in as a left back, and Kolo Muani takes it away from him and races into midfield. Liverpool win it back temporarily, but Archie Gray has it on the left hand side for the yellow shirted Spurs, pushes it forward to Xavi Simons, right footed steers it infield. Pape Matar Sarr thought about a shot. Liverpool fans said, look, no one's closing him down. Here's Porro, right hand side of the Spurs attack, left footed cross swept towards the far post, headed away. Salah won't get there. He might at a second attempt, plays it against the legs of Pape Matar Sarr, and Xavi Simons goes to field on that far touchline. Still 1-0 Liverpool, 9.5 to go.
Yeah, but there's a nervousness round here.
There is.
There absolutely is, because of how deep Liverpool have gone, and actually one or two, I mean, McAllister's legs can't get him around the pitch quick enough, and there's an opportunity to get in around him and break away from him. I think it's Muani that's gone in on him.
Well,
if you get the ball into his feet, I think he can beat him, and that'll open up the pitch.
Trey Nyoni is coming on from Liverpool's point of view, Reading born, 18-year-old. Will only be his 10th appearance this season for Liverpool. They play it into centre midfield. McAllister to the left. Now it's Robertson over the halfway line. Andy Robertson checks back, groans as he does so, Steve.
Yeah, because it's now Spurs have everyone bar one behind the ball.
Yep.
They're protecting inside the width of the 18-yard box, and we go back to that pedestrian build-up, and it frustrates them.
And they've just stopped. I mean, Curtis Jones stops.
It frustrates the home crowd. You know, you think about under Jurgen Klopp, it was relentless.
It was relentless, yeah.
And it's just getting used to it. They don't like it, but
they don't like
if you stick with this manager,
that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, and he won the title last year.
He did.
No
Chipped forward by Van Dijk. Robertson's gone forward for this. He's got Kolo Muani tracking back with him. The Spurs player wins the ball comfortably. It's rolled back to Vicario. He has to wriggle it away from the attentions of Curtis Jones, and then Mo Salah, edge of the penalty area. A couple of little bits of jinkery-pokery, and he creates the chance for the cross. Out of play for the corner, but did he have a chance to ping it straight back into Jones?
Yeah, he did. But again, my concern is Spurs are in this. There is a chance to get, and the last thing you want to do is allow Liverpool to wind down the clock by making mistakes defensively. They should have dealt with that, and they should have had possession of the ball. And now they're facing a corner against.
It's a corner kick over on the left-hand side for Liverpool, who lead by a goal to nil. Scored in the 18th minute. A Szoboszlai free kick comes near post. It flicks off a Spurs head in the shape of Sarr, and Richarlison won't get there on the halfway line. Neither will Liverpool, though, and it will be a throw-in conceded as Curtis Jones had to try and keep it in. Throw-in conceded on this near touchline. Liverpool make another change, and it's going to be Cody Gakpo who is being replaced, and Trey Nyoni is coming on. Trey Nyoni is on for Cody Gakpo. And Spurs are still in this game. Pedro Porro takes a little bit of water, splashes it on his head, and prepares to take the throw in. Turquoise boots of Pedro Porro. Spurs, who've lost the last 6 on the bounce, Steve, in all competitions. Still are behind in this game, but maybe it just needs one opportunity. It just needs one chance late on in this match to get something out of it. Yeah. And Igor Tudor is out of his coaching box again. He'll get told off by the 4th official if he's not careful, who is Mr. Kirk, captain to his mates, as Ekitike is inside the penalty area, cuts it back. There were 6 Spurs players back and just 2 other Liverpool players.
Yeah, and they're so safe behind the ball, and I mean, it's concerning that, you know, in terms of the home crowd.
Yeah, Ekitike with it, sweeps it back towards Yoni. And here is Joe Gomez, and you get that point now for Liverpool. The win is important.
Yeah.
You are leading. You're up to 4th in the table as a consequence. You are defending a 1-goal lead. Clean sheets haven't been too prevalent of late. Salah's kept it in on that right-hand side. He's done very well. He's up against Archie Gray, squirts it back. Here's Szoboszlai. Shoot goes the cry. Onto his left peg. Does so, puts it wide.
Yeah. That's a wonderful diagonal from Virgil van Dijk, and I have to say the control from Salah was even better. The shot is dragged on the left side of Szoboszlai, dragged back across the goal and out for a goal kick. But yeah, for what it's worth, Spurs have had more shots on target. Alisson's had to make more saves.
No wins in 12 in the Premier League for Tottenham Hotspur, and at the moment trailing in this one. And we're heading into the last 5 minutes of the game. Liverpool with a throw-in on the right-hand side. Last time they didn't win was a 2-2 draw with Manchester City, of course. Beat Frankfurt before that, after a draw with Burnley. But it's been a tale of woe in recent weeks. Solanke, both those goals against Manchester City. And last time they won in the Premier League against Crystal Palace. It's gone back to Alisson, who slides it forward to Gomez. Gomez is being hemmed in by 2 Tottenham players, Solanke being one of them. Nudges the header away. Now it's going to be McAllister. His clearance bounces off Gravenberch. It's all a little bit
awful, actually.
Well, a little bit poor from Liverpool's point of view, and Spurs maybe can capitalise. Gray delivers, right-footed, Richarlison far post.
You've got to give him a chance.
And he was well marshalled there by Robertson and Van Dijk. He couldn't get off the ground.
No, but yeah, it's not Richarlison's fault. That delivery from Gray's got to come with inside the width of the post. They had 3 players inside the width of the post, all waiting to receive, and the cross is hit behind all of them. But yeah, I mean, I get why there's frustration here. Because what Gomez did, he could have played forward into McAllister's feet. He went back to Alisson and
put the whole team under pressure.
Put the back line under pressure, which got the turnover for Spurs. Great for Spurs, but then they're just a little bit, you know, when you're in that position, you've done really well, you've got the turnover, you've pressed high up the pitch, you've forced Liverpool to go back to the keeper, and then you cross it straight behind everybody else. It's equally frustrating.
3.5 plus added on time to go here at Anfield. Throw-in's taking an age from Andy Robertson. Ekitike with the ball, bounces off him. Spurs are able to carry it away through Kolo Muani. Richarlison, that's a foul by McAllister on him. The Argentinian in on the Brazilian. Quite feisty affairs when those 2 international teams play, Steve, as well. So a little vignette of that taking place there, and it gives Spurs a free kick on the halfway line. And the noise around here, Steve, it's like you can tell that they're not, they're sort of hoping that they get there. Alisson comes a long way and punches clear. Salah gets in behind. Pape Matar does really well to pirouette and win the ball back, and here's Xavi Simons allowed to run towards the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. Archie Gray again over on that left-hand side, just level with the edge of the 18-yard box, receives it from Pape Matar. Gray slides it infield. Simons on the half turn, strikes one goalwards. It's saved by Alisson. It's a long way out. The Brazilian goalkeeper happy to make the gather, and then thinks about the early unleashing.
Yeah, but I quite like that from Simons. Rather than just sit in the box and wait for a cross to come in, which they have been doing, he's gone to feet, received. It's a sharp turn. He's manoeuvred the ball from left to right to open up the shot. It was unfortunately a bit too close for Alisson without the pace, but I like the thought process, going to feet.
That's into the centre circle. McAllister's got away from one challenge. Can he get away from another? No, he can't. Richarlison was nibbling back at him. Here comes Spurs bursting forward. Robertson tried to read that. McAllister has been left in a crumpled heap. Richarlison is down as well. McAllister still holding his leg. Both players actually hobbling away from that challenge as it goes back to Vicario, and he dinks it towards the left-hand side, and Archie Gray bounces, pushes it down the left-hand touchline. Here comes Spurs again. Simmons, though, looks for the run beyond him, slides it into midfield where he finds Olasese. And Spurs have it on this near touchline. That's their right, Pedro Porro. A minute and a half to go, plus added on time on BBC Radio London, on Total Sport Live on a Sunday evening. Brentford against Wolves tomorrow. And eventually it'll be Dragisan who rolls it to his goalkeeper, Vicario. Atletico Madrid at home on Wednesday for Spurs the next game, then Nottingham Forest next Sunday. Downward header from Robertson's given Colomani the chance. It's Richarlison! Tottenham Hotspur equalise in the last minute of the game. Richarlison goes over to the Kop and cops an ear to them all. The Spurs fans are dancing up and down away to our left-hand side. Colomani bundling it to Richarlison, who then just rolls it into the back of the net. He's deserved that goal this afternoon, and Tottenham have deserved something out of this game. It's Liverpool 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
Do you know what, that was going to be my intro. He absolutely deserves that goal. Muani's done great. He's putting his way past the player, and he kept his composure, and he recognised Richarlison was in a better spot. He could have been in a position to unload left strike at goal. He was central, 16 yards out, but he got his head up, saw Richarlison, perfectly weighted pass into his path to allow him to get that shot away low off his right side past Alisson. And it's been coming. Yeah. It's been coming, and you could sense it's been coming in this home crowd. They've gone flat, they got nervous. And that guy there, as you say, Phil, Richarlison, has worked his socks off. He's tested Alisson on 2 or 3 occasions. He's been unlucky with headers. He's been a thorn in the back four's side, and he's deserved that goal. Spurs level.
Federico Chiesa is on for Liverpool. There's 5 minutes of added on time being played, and the home fans are not happy, Steve.
No.
As Szoboszlai has it, right-hand side. Chiesa's inside the penalty area. It's gone long. Richarlison beaten to it, though, by Curtis Jones, who spins it out wide towards Robertson. Delivers far post. Poor cross from the Scotsman.
Yeah.
Goal kick to Tottenham, who have brought it back to 1-1 here at Anfield on BBC Radio London.
And suddenly all those mums whose sons have come up the motorway to watch their team play and not taking them out for dinner have got something to celebrate. They're enjoying themselves over there at the moment, the Spurs fans, and quite rightly so.
It's a goal kick which will be taken by Vicario, and he is taking as long as he possibly can to get this clear, Steve Brown.
Look, I'm seeing out the game. Use every trick in the book here. Go to ground, waste time. It's a real, is it a deserved point? I think so. I don't mean the home sides. They've toyed around. They've not been decisive enough. They've been slow in their build-up play.
Salah tries to flick it forward quickly. Spurs, though, have it. Archie Gray on the halfway line. Could it get any better in this game for Tottenham Hotspur? It's a throw into Liverpool over on that right-hand side. There's 3 minutes to go, Steve. It's 1 apiece on BBC Radio London.
Can they find a winner, is the question.
Well, yeah, someone. I mean, Spurs could.
That's what I mean. Can Spurs find a winner?
Well, they've got to throw it.
This is not a good... Look, Spurs have dug out a goal and got themselves into a position where a draw is great because it stops the rot.
Yeah.
But this Liverpool side is just dropping deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
It's not suddenly responded and trying to get a goal. The Robertson cross sums it up.
Yeah.
Great position. It went out
Dreadful.
with a corner flag.
Well, it's very interesting as well now, because all the scrutiny was on the Spurs manager ahead of this game, Igor Tudor. The cameras are focusing constantly now on Arne Slot as it goes back to Virgil van Dijk, and he rolls it into his 18-yard box, because champions last year spending £400 million or somewhere near that in the summer. A long ball forward from Alisson goes all the way through to Vicario.
And let's flip it. They scored a wonder goal. It was a wonder goal.
It was a wonder goal, yeah,
No,
absolutely. Solanke tries to poke it out wide towards the right-hand side of Liverpool's defence. Joe Gomez is being encouraged to carry things forward for Liverpool. Here's Robertson. Spurs want to make a late change. They have it to the home team with Szoboszlai on the right-hand side. They have scored late winners already in recent weeks. They're going to poke it out wide to that right-hand touchline at Liverpool. Back it comes to Szoboszlai again. Here is Virgil van Dijk. We are possibly going to see James Rousewell coming on for Spurs as Ekitike rolls it back to Van Dijk, and Liverpool need a bit of urgency. Szoboszlai is thinking about a long-range effort. Lots of people inside the penalty area. 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. They go from right to left to right to left. They're not getting anything into that 18-yard box, and Spurs have won it back and now can break possibly themselves, and they've got a chance to peel forward, and Simmons is in on goal down the left-hand side. Will he get some support? Xavi Simons in the penalty area, tries to take a shot, took a deflection, let it go out of play for a corner. Spurs have a corner at Kop end of the ground, and we've got a minute to go.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get an opportunity to do a little bit more than that, Simmons. It was a wonderful ball cross field. I didn't think they were going to spot him making that break down the left. They did. They played it into his path. I was expecting him to conjure up a little bit of magic 1v1 and get a shot away to Alisson, but his touch inside got doubled up on, and he ended up passing it sideways and out for the corner.
Well, Richarlison is the man being replaced by James.
Oh, what a set piece!
Rousewell. Well, yeah, I know. It's to waste time.
It's a set piece chance. This game's going to be over after this. He's been excellent in the air.
He has. He's had, in the first half, a couple of headers.
I mean, he's getting a brilliant reception from the Spurs fans, as he should. I think he's been excellent leading that line today. If you think about Solanke in this match and you think about Richarlison, you barely notice Solanke.
No.
That guy's been a thorn in the side and deservedly got his goal and gets a great reception, but could they have left him on to be a nuisance?
Liverpool fans are making for the exits in numbers, Steve.
This isn't a good Liverpool team today.
Well, they're delivering into the penalty area. This is a delivery. This is a chance to win it. Xavi Simons with the corner kick towards the far post. Heads go up. Danso into the 6-yard box. Ekitike gets it away. Porro drives in a shot. Now Liverpool can break though. Here goes Ekitike over the halfway line. Liverpool have numbers forward. Can he pick the right pass? He's still got the ball at his feet. He rolls it towards the left. Back into Ekitike. Back to goal. Blocked on the 18-yard line by Pape Matar Sarr. And Solanke has it. What a chance for a breakaway goal, and Spurs defended it well. And here comes Dominic Solanke up against Joe Gomez down the right-hand side. Thinks about taking it into the corner. Loses possession. Liverpool have one more chance. They've given it away. Chance possibly for Olasese. He rolls it to Pape Matar Sarr. The fans behind us are doing a nut, Steve. Here goes Spurs again. Square ball. Simmons. Porro. Will he hit it? Right-footed into the 6-yard box. Blocked away by Virgil van Dijk. And then a header out of play for a Liverpool throw-in, and the referee's going to bring this game to an end with the scoreline 1-1. But both teams had a chance to win it late, but the reaction from the Liverpool fans should be music to the ears of the Spurs fans, their manager and their players. Many of them dropped to their knees. They came here with not enough players on the bench. They came here with the pressure, having 6 straight defeats, with everyone expecting Liverpool to roll them over this afternoon. They went behind to a goal from Dominic Szoboszlai, but they got more shots on target. They forced more saves from Alisson, and Richarlison, who'd been the thorn in the side, got a late equaliser after great physical work from Kolo Muani to create the opportunity. They could have almost got a winner. They almost conceded one at one end, but great work from Pape Matar Sarr, who symbolised with that block right at the end how they've gone about their defensive duties this afternoon. Hats off to Igor Tudor. Hats off to his team. Hats off to that Tottenham side. They are not giving up just yet, and those Spurs fans away to our left-hand side are recognising it. It's finished here this afternoon at Anfield. Liverpool 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
Total Sport Live.
BBC Radio London.
Well, Steve Brown, that was not in the script, but Tottenham showing signs of life. Certainly great organisation from their head coach. Certainly great discipline from their team. Certainly great character, just stay in the game. They'll be focused on what Liverpool are doing at the moment, and I can see why their fans are getting very frustrated. But let's give props, let's give the flowers on Mother's Day to Igor Tudor and to that Tottenham Hotspur team this afternoon.
Yeah, look, I mean, we're driving up together and we're not giving them much chance, and that's not us being harsh. It's just you go historically on the results recently, how they performed, the game in midweek, everything was against them. The injuries they've got, the squad they're left with, they can't fill a bench, everything was against them. And you know what? They worked their socks off today, and they've caused Liverpool one or two problems. That defence is not good in that side, but you've still got to expose it. I thought Richarlison had one of his better games. I've watched him a few times in a Spurs shirt. That's probably the best I've seen him play. He's got one or two opportunities in the first half aerially. He tested Alisson with one was inches wide, and he deservedly got the goal that's got Spurs a point, and which, Phil, more importantly, stops the rot of 7 straight losses. 6 in all competitions. That would have been 7 to 8. It stops that, and it allows them to do this, walk over to their fans, and the fans sing and get behind the performance. Is that a turning point? Who knows? We'll wait and find out. But they have got 4 games coming up, particularly the next one. Well, no, obviously the next league game that is crucial and vital. And if they play like that, they're going to have half a chance.
Great character. After everything that's happened, Steve, pumped by Liverpool, should I say Arsenal in his first game in charge, pumped by Atletico Madrid, all the focus on what happened with the goalkeeper. Yes, what went on there wasn't right, and there was a lot wrong with that in many respects. However, they've shown character here today at Anfield to get something out of this game.
I think at the start, if you rewind and have a little listen, we said you've got to roll your sleeves up. You can't feel sorry for yourselves. The only people that have got an opportunity to turn this round are the ones wearing the yellow shirts today.
Yeah.
But it has to be performances like that. I don't think they should be at all apologetic for being a low block today. I call it a deep defensive setup.
Yeah.
And they performed it very, very well. Liverpool got frustrated in the end. They run out of ideas, and they had to make a triple substitution across the front line to try and turn that around. It didn't quite work. In fact, after the triple, you saw Spurs get the equaliser. And so what I would say is that in terms of when you look down statistically, they've given themselves a real fighting chance here today in how they approach creating opportunities, and they thoroughly deserve the point. It's can they carry this forward? Has that given them enough confidence and belief in that performance to go and get something? Look, they're going to write off the Atletico, a very good side, but you've got to concentrate on the Forest game. It is massive in the context of the season. Huge.
Yeah, well, the Spurs fans are in good voice. It'll be a good trip back for them.
Yep.
And for this Spurs side, a lot of work still to be done, but they take a huge credit out of what they've done this afternoon at Anfield. Steve Brown, thanks for your company here. Thanks to Andy and Bradley at Crystal Palace and Mark at Nottingham Forest earlier today, and especially to Tom and to Lauren back at base for another Sunday shift. I hope you have a great rest of Mother's Day if you're a mother or a grandmother or whatever, and if you're a Spurs supporting mother or grandmother, you're going to have a good evening, because that was a very impressive performance. Well done to Tottenham. We'll get reaction to this in the breakfast bulletins tomorrow during the breakfast show with Aaron Paul, and of course on Rob Green's Total Sports Show tomorrow night, live from Brentford against Wolves. That's your next live football on BBC Radio London. But from here at Anfield, as the Spurs fans were singing, Spurs go marching on. Are they going to march on to safety? We'll have to wait and see. It's Dot Adebayo next. Have a good evening.